Because when you put something into a woman, she nurtures it, and it comes out of her as what? A action, a state of, a presence of. You know what I'm saying?
It does make sense, right? It does.
Yeah. So that's what the cube is. And so whoever controls the mass, the ones who nurture, the one who produce the state of, they control the whole state of reality. You know what I'm saying? So when you read backwards, Mason, it's actually on Mas. It's not Mason. You know what I'm saying? It's Mas on, and it's on Mas. So the on Mas, when you on something, you do what? You make an impression on it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And when you make an impression on it, then the imprint comes out as, huh?
Yeah, no, just keep going. Hey, look, I'm just listening, man, because you're saying things and they're lining up with stuff but in your way of saying it, lining up with the shit that I was saying yesterday. So I'm just listening, but I hear you. You said impression, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Right. So that's why they use the woman, because they know the woman is basically the state of the manifestation. So whoever can imprint on the woman and on her, that means not physically but spiritually. Now
Right.
what they imprint, they know that her eyes is the future. Whatever she see through her eyes, she'll manifest the lineages from. You know what I'm saying? So they try to imprint on her eyes her version of how she see the world, and she'll produce that.
Influence.
Exactly. And why you think anybody who has influence, they get rid of them? You know what I'm saying? They don't want nobody else having influence but them.
Right.
Yep. So that's what we're looking at, man. It's nothing but the control of the species. And it's good that we start breaking it down like this, Rashaud, because sometimes we get so far away from talking about the Anunnaki and vibration and all these different words that we don't make it simplistic in how it relates to us in everyday life today. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
And so now we get trapped in these ideologies and start regurgitating information, but we have no resonance of how it impacts us today.
Exactly. We're bringing this shit to the forefront, right? With this information focusing on topics that really matter and tying them together, because all this shit is connected. That's the thing that makes it so, I don't know what
Facts, but
it's
you said
all
influence.
so whenever you look at any of these different concepts, and from all of our point of views, we're going to look at all these different concepts, and there's a way for us to get to some kind of truth that exists within all of them, and a way that they all connect to each other. And that's just what I've been realizing, you know.
Facts. When you say influence, you know, the one influence that they actually want us to be under is intoxicants, right? And most of the time, you know, that's like alcohol, which is spirits.
Facts. A legion. That's a goddamn legion of spirits. They trying to take you out.
Facts. Yeah, because they profit off of it. When you're under the influence of those spirits, then yeah, they can come and they can apprehend you, and you're not in your right state of mind.
Thanks. You're not in the right state of mind to even
coherently argue your innocence. Yeah.
you can get so lost, but you don't even know what you did.
Exactly.
So when we're speaking on these different principles, right? What do you think that from your information, Rashad? What do you look at the letter T as doing?
Getting stuck somewhere. One, you know,
he said getting stuck.
Yeah. Like, because ascension to me is up, and then if there's a cap, then that's getting through that.
So remember
It's a
earlier when
cross.
it is that too.
I mean, I
And
was
it's a
thinking about the
cross.
capitalism.
So remember when you
Yeah,
was
it's a
Thinking about the
cross.
capitalism.
so remember when you
And
were saying
crosses
earlier
mark. Well, I'm saying crosses mark a destination or a target or a location that can only that's designated in one spot, basically.
that too, yeah, exactly.
Oh well, I mean,
Well,
you know
well,
what I'm
both
saying. I
both
was thinking
both
about a
both of them will be a
person.
cross. Yeah, both of them will be a cross.
Or
It's
what
just
is
a degree.
cross? Yep.
Yeah, it's just a degree.
Oh
The
shit, you
degree
said
of
a
the
cross.
cross. Yeah, both.
Oh, my
Yeah.
fault, man. I wasn't paying attention enough. I was trying to find a song.
So
I
when
didn't
you
know what.
so
I
when
didn't
you
know what.
so when you're looking at like what he just said, right, and what you just said,
I was.
remember you were saying earlier about it's the issue all in one
Yeah.
and the solution. When you put a T on issue, what word do you get?
Yeah.
And you see,
I
because
see.
what it is when you're able to handle at hand. That's why they say at hand, handle the issue at hand, right? When you can handle the issue at hand in your spirit, you can literally grow to the next level, create the tissues and the fabric to this universe. But when you cannot handle the issues at hand, then it gets inverted. That's how we get the word inversion. And now it becomes the issue because now you cannot create the tissue, but you cannot create the tissue.
Fact. Fact. The time is at hand. The time is now.
The power's in my hand.
Yeah. So now you go to a spindle of the past. You see, now you cannot carnate the now. You go into a spindle of the past until you release yourself back in. Until you release yourself back into the present, you will always get trapped into a past state of consciousness.
Trap
And
Yeah,
you're
right there.
bound. That's where you're bound to.
yeah, that's what you're bound to. And so,
Yep, that's the trap.
yeah, and that's why people say, "Well, I'm dealing with trauma and I'm dealing with these things." Well, if you saying when you say you give yourself the trauma and you need to heal from this trauma, the only thing you're inherently saying is saying that I need. If you if you if you if you understood what
Yeah, the devil. It's these. Hey, look, it's these burdens, yo. So we so we hold on to all these burdens, and these burdens become heavy on our heart, and they weigh on our conscience. And these things that we're holding on to, this is the goddamn cord that makes you come back. It could be like you hold on to burdens. You love people so much that you want better for them. You wish they were in a better
that
spot
means. I'm
before you
sorry.
pass. You have regrets and all those different things. But in reality, you got to be at peace. You got to be at peace. You got to be at, or any of these things can be. You got to be at you, keeping you bound to this goddamn reality. Of these things, you know what I mean? You know.
Talking with the mic on mute.
Yeah, it sounded like you were talking to somebody in your background, so I muted you while I was talking.
Oh, okay. No, that's probably just probably was. It probably was. But so the devil is nothing but lived backwards. It's you being okay.
Right.
That's all it means. And we give it so much because they didn't put a picture with it. You know what I'm saying? But that's how pitchforks and all this stuff be that image within us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Be that image within us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's how people say I blame the devil for what I'm doing. But you did it. The devil didn't do it. You did it.
Right. You had no emotional control. Hey, look, How does tense connect with tension?
Tense, the tense and tension, because the tense just like past tense. The tense just like past disbanding of something. So like you know how like you're suspended in air, suspended in air. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So tense just meaning that you're suspended in air or malleable with that tension. You know how sometimes you could be suspended, and the more that you basically pull away, the more it's going to basically stretch your head. And the more that you basically pull away, the more it's going to basically stretch your muscles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. You got to have tension or for tense to even exist.
Or
A rope tied around your. If I tie a rope around your leg and I do the tension.
no, no. You basically loosen the tension because because what they do is they know it because they don't want it to be prevalent that you even know it's there.
I'm about to say,
You
if
see what
it's
I'm saying?
tied, you're already bound.
Yeah, because if not make something so noticeable to where you would know who your enemy was. If you, I would just tighten it over time. You know how like when you wear ankle weights, when I put a 2 on, you don't really feel it. And then once you wear that 2 for a while, I'm gonna put a 5 on. You see, I'm gradually putting weight on you, and you really not really noticing a big difference.
Indeed.
But I'm not gonna start you off at like 50.
But increasing the tension is necessary. Whether I do it to, without knowing or it happens. But
You and what you're trying to achieve, but it's not necessary in the spirit realm because the intention is something unknowing to you. You know what I'm saying? You see the
I
difference?
mean,
One is
but all right, so imagine this. Everybody has moments where they think about shit. Everybody has moments where they think about shit. Even like the biggest fool you ever met, the most ignorant person you ever met. They could live their life and still have moments where they be like, man, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And that,
shit.
hey,
you
look,
got a lot
one,
of faith.
yeah, maybe that are just like lost in the sauce. But every once in a while, people do be like, man, something that is wrong. Like it could be about their job, it could be anything that they just realize there's a system at play and the shit ain't adding up. Right? The tension being increased, that shit happens like you're walking a dog on one of them. Y'all remember them chains where they can go as a certain amount of distance? They can go as a certain amount. That shit'll just lock up. You know, the only thing is the tension don't feel like tension because it comes in the form of entertainment. It comes in the form of food. That comes in the form of like horrible friendships that make you or horrible men find other avenues to feel better, like drinking and shit, and other these all bills, work, all that shit is the tension, right? All that shit is the tension is the stuff that pulls you back in, and because we're supposed to get out of being influenced, right? So the tension takes place, right? And I guess if we're talking about past tense, if you running in the right direction, the past tense is the only thing that could be that cord. And when you get caught in those things, that shit pulls you right back that cord as well. That
Look up
past tension.
look up if you don't mind.
Also got intentions.
So when you add the suffix, right, on words, the IO, I mean the TION and the TIVE and the LY and the ITY, all this changes the dichotomy of the actual word itself at hand.
Then you got like the CON, contention and
You're right,
intention, and yeah. Uh-huh.
right. So because the reason why I say tensely, because when you use
Oh, you
that
said 10.
tensely, yeah, LY, when you use the LY, that means that it's giving you choice. When you say tension, that's no choice. That's just the act of. You know what I'm saying? When you use TIVE, that means you're caught in between your choice and what you've been prompted to do. That's why when people say, "Oh, that's subjective," that means that two things exist at the same time. It's quantum. It's quantum entanglement. So most people don't understand when they say the word subjective and objective. It's like saying a spork. You're saying a fork and a spoon exist at the same moment. But when you say Lee on it, you're saying the spoon is either a teaspoon, a tablespoon, a salad fork or a steak fork. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're given choice of which tool to use. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's why when somebody say, "Oh, that's subjective," can't nobody make a rational decision because they like my idea and your idea both can be true.
Indeed. That's usually how it goes. That's usually just the way that shit goes.
So we must be eating salad and steak.
Damn, you cut out. Oh.
Must be
You said something
now
about a
now
salad.
now now. I was saying we must.
Oh yeah, a salad. Yeah, we out here
The
eating
steak
salad.
salad.
We out here
The
eating
steak
salad.
salad.
Right. Instead of saying, "Hey, I'm eating," we understand the difference, and this is what I'm talking about at this time. Even though I understand that you're eating a salad, just recognize that I'm eating a steak, and this is what I like. You know what I'm saying? But we don't do that. We think that you're not going to tell me that that I have to eat a salad, and I don't have an option not to eat a salad. So therefore, your salad is irrelevant because my steak is not relevant. So now I'm gonna make my steak within your salad to make both relevant without saying mine is not relevant. It's a whole mind fuck. It's a whole mind fuck.
Yeah, that's just
That's what it is.
I always equate stuff like that into like duality. Like you're
Right,
like
right.
exactly.
Yeah, and look, that's what I was saying too, because I was saying like, I was talking on behalf of like, how they say everybody can't be saved. And then I was saying like, sometimes people can't be saved, but
It's
reality
electric.
should be. See, there goes that nigga talking again, right? He was like, could be. Yeah. But damn. Different sides but the same
Yeah,
coin.
yeah, but I look at it like this too. Why can't I have my God and you have your God, and we may give homage to different things, and then we can have things that it may not be at that time what you need, but I may have something else in my repertoire that you may be able to utilize in yours, and vice versa. But it's trying to compete. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to contrast. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
no, that's the truth. Because usually it's like one thing. The disagreements are usually just the one thing, but the agreements are a legion of things. But we hyper focus on the disagreement, and then we just lose track of everything. But niggas could have built a whole entire universe together, but they argued about our pencils better, extremely sharp, or a little bit dull. It all depends on who's using it.
That part, that way.
It all depends on who's using
But some people might say, hey, you use pencils, I use markers, but it may be a reason. One person might be allergic to lead. You know what I'm saying?
I used to take the points off just so I can use my pen at school on like classwork and stuff, because we get deducted off if we use the pen instead of a pencil. But I never like the sound of the lead on the paper. That friction used to always it's irritate my ears. Like it felt like nails on a chalkboard. So I'm like, what? Just take the little 3-5 points off. I'm using on the fillers in the ink pen.
it. I like that sound. That could have been an argument. I see you didn't take the bait. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to see if we could
Nah, that goes back into one man's God is another man's downlord. However you want. One man's God is another man's downlord. However you want to put it. Like,
I just wanted to know if y'all was in here learning.
What's the next part? You got another part you want to build on that story that you was reading? I really wanted you to go back. You know what I've been waiting for, man. I've been waiting for you to read that Cosmic Mother, man, so we can break that down as you go. That's what I really was waiting for when you went live.
Oh, for real? But
On that mother.
oh, for real?
Yeah, I told you that.
People like if ain't nobody talking,
That's
people like if ain't nobody talking in the comments, you know what I'm saying?
what you got
I
to
was
look
just
at.
like,
Your comments was moving though.
if people ain't here, Rashaud, they wait. If people ain't here, Rashaud, they waiting on you. They waiting on you. They ain't here.
oh, maybe I wasn't paying attention to the comments because I was reading. You know what I'm saying? But
That's what.
I don't know if y'all were here. Like a lot of people that are in the comments, if we talking about when I was reading The Great Cosmic Mother. I don't know if all y'all were in those lives. This was like 5 months ago.
Yeah. So.
Mother.
No, I just met Rashaud about a month ago. So yeah, I don't think I was in those lives.
Yeah, you might not have been. Yeah, you might not have been there. But yeah, we could. I mean, if I was to read that book again, like it'd have to go into what we're talking about now, though. But it is though.
Look,
It is a
everybody in the
good.
comments. Yeah, everybody in the comments said they liked it.
Hey, look, man, shit. I'm just trying to live.
I feel that.
We're just trying to figure some shit out, you know. You can read shit to figure some shit out, you know. You can read it again. Oh, they were like the grimoire. Y'all ain't feeling the grimoire or not, or what? Are y'all
Oh no, it's cool too. It's cool too.
grim? I want it to all go together.
Yeah, because I like to like because sometimes like read a section, build on it for like 2 to 3 minutes part and explaining, we kind of lose grasp of the book too. So we kind of integrate the two to part and explaining, we kind of lose grasp of the book too. So we kind of integrate the two together. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, we could do it all. First chapter was born. No, that first chapter wasn't. It was all right. No, that first chapter wasn't. It was all right. This is like the whole. It's gonna have all the he-man woman haters. I mean, he woman man haters in here talking about niggas ain't good for nothing. See where it takes us real quick. But before we do that, let me not. Before we do that, I just want to go over some shit real quick. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think. Right. Plus, I made a picture. I got a picture made. I just want y'all to see that shit. Nah, but we could wait. Jesus Christ. Everybody in the comments talking about read the book. I should start where I left off. And y'all can play the catch-up game. Yeah, because I ain't gonna read that whole shit again. Because you were here, and Intrinsic said he wants to build off of it. And he's been here, so we starting at the right place. Right? Damn, I don't have my markers. Can y'all see?
Yeah.
I usually like to read with like a highlighter. But my children done messed all my highlighters up.
You might need that magnifying glass, bro.
Yeah, I can't really. This is easier to see than this book. I could kind of at least see this shit. The other one, it sounded like I couldn't read almost. I was like, the name, it's reverse. I was like, God dang. The ancient great mother of all living gave birth parthenogenetically to herself and the entire cosmos. She was the world egg containing the two halves of all polarities or dualisms, the yin and yang of continuity and change, expansion and contraction of the universe. This process is symbolized by the spiral turning continuously in on itself. The spiral, we talked about the spiral the other day, y'all, right? By conscious breath, waking from sleep and sinking back into sleep, Kali, watch my daughter come in here. Did you come in? Dancing the universe into being and then destruction and death. The ascending spiral is matter transforming into spiritual psychic energy simultaneously from the descending spiral, right? The materialization of the spirit comes the differentiation of the whole manifest world. The spiral involution of energy into matter is the primary movement of the universe into created beings. The spiral evolution, right? Hold on, let's do that. The spiral involution of energy and the spiral evolution of matter into energy. Y'all like that? I like that shit.
Yeah, but the thing is that most people say that matter, I said matter, that energy could not be created or destroyed, which that's actually an allegory. If it wasn't created, then it wouldn't exist. What it's saying, it either creates or it's creating. It created, meaning it's stagnant. You know what I'm saying? So that basically is telling you it's not stagnant. Most people take that as literal. You know what I'm saying? It's not literal. It's figurative. So when we're talking about the spirit state, which the spirit, remember how I was saying earlier, we talked about this, right? How I said the first dimension represents what? The spirit. Remember I said that?
Right.
The second dimension represents what? Matter. You know what I'm saying? The soul. You know what I mean? So it's the unseen universe and the seen universe coming together to create a dynamical harmony, right? And remember how I was saying that they don't want darkness imprinting onto the light. They inverted it. That's why I say in involution, right? I think that's the word they use, right?
Yeah.
And so it involution, because now instead of it getting out, it inverts itself inwardly. So now the light is now imprinting on the dark. You see what I'm saying?
That's in the same sense of us being like condensed light to form matter. Right.
And I just talked about that earlier before you even read the book. And so it's saying that she's constantly birthed herself from the expansion and contraction which they always say energy and motion, but energy doesn't go in motion. It only expands and contracts, right? So it needs to harness what? Vibration to expand and contract. So vibration would be the spirit, but energy would be the circumference.
It's gotta catch a wave.
Exactly, that too. But it got to catch a wave to put itself in motion, right? And it suspend itself through time because wave is the length and distance over time, and it taps into the frequency of time, and that's how it's able to put itself in motion by encompassing the four elements: frequency, vibration, a wave, and energy. You see that? What's going on, Anisha?
Not much. Hey, y'all. Sorry, I'm just putting me on some ginger tea real quick, so I'm gonna go on mute and I'll come back.
Okay. Yeah, so what I was saying was, and this is what gravity teaches, right? Because gravity is not the earth tilting on an axis and all this stuff like that and gravitational pull. It's about one object. Let's just say energy is the circumference of the object engulfing another object to its center. Let's just say vibration is the inner circumference. So it's basically taking something outside of itself, being able to harness something inside itself to create a gravitational pull. So now it's more than just itself. It's itself plus other things, but it's still just itself because it's harnessing something outside of itself. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not pulling you in with it; it's just pulling your essence in with it. So inherently, they possess your essence. So that's what this book is about, being able to use what they call, and that's also in religion, that's called the birth of the Jehovah. The Jehovah is an autonomous, the Jehovah is an autonomous God, is able to be all.
Give me a minute, man. My fault.
Yeah, you cool. Yeah. So we had
Hey,
huh?
I thought she came up here to talk.
Oh no, she said she boiling her some tea right quick, and she said she gonna come right back. Yeah, so I was just entertaining while I got the kids until you get back to the book.
Indeed. Yeah. 3 children, man. Crazy over here.
We gotta stop. We gotta stop letting them access the things that we intrinsically possess, so they consider themselves being all things because we don't naturally know what we possess, and we get intrinsically possessed, which we play within nature itself. You know. So have you seen the movie Gargamel? And he was trying to, I don't know if you've seen the one where it was about the strings, and each Smurf possessed a different strings, and each Smurf possessed a different string, just like the last Airbender. And then like they wanted to go possess like air, fire, all these things, and then once they possessed all the super whatever, like a super being or something like that, just like Thanos. You know what I'm saying? So they
Right.
tell you these things in different, you know what I'm saying? So your essence is being stolen. By the time you know, Thanos then got all the rings and he didn't collapse time.
I know y'all seen the Fifth Element,
That too, yeah.
so you could see in that movie when all of the elements come together: earth, wind, fire, spirit, and they show you in that movie that the spirit is the feminine. So I don't know. I heard you say that spirit is the first dimension. Why did you say that?
Spirit is the first dimension because the spirit represents the essence. Everything above is falling, right? Do you agree with that? That the universe is suspended in time falling? And so when it falls, the universe has to hit a what? A point. right? That means a grounding point. So as above, so below. Density will be the first thing that gets to knowledge because it's the first grounding points of knowledge from the universe. And then we ascend back up to a point to connect to the universe. You see what I'm saying? But the universe gives us all the elements in the first density to basically get us back up to the top. And you have to go through all the 3 dimensions to get back up to the 4th dimension to connect to the 5D.
But when you fall, so I've been talking about the hero's journey. You fall, so we've been reading Outwitting the Devil. And I talked about this earlier because I was explaining to them about Adam and Eve and about how that was meant to happen because you got to fall before you can rise. It's the process of alchemy. So that's exactly what you was just saying. You fall and you got to go back up to the top. But when we fall, we come into matter, not spirit. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. That's why. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Well, do you things are unseen?
Do I believe in things that are unseen?
So do you think the unseen? So you think the seen is before the unseen? So
Do I think the seen is before the unseen? No, it could be kind of paradoxical. So they both, I think, exist simultaneously. It's just that you don't realize it. If you understand what I'm saying.
that's what quantum physics teaches. That's what quantum entanglement. Well, that's what earlier, like a spork. A spork is saying that 2 things that are totally different exist in the same moment. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It's quantum entanglement. You have to erase one of something, and that's something, and that's why a spork is more like a spoon than a fork. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't have an equal value. So that means that the physical will be the spoon and the spirit will be the fork. If I can make something more matter, you know what I'm saying? A spork and the spirit will be the fork. Matter. You see what I'm saying? This is what quantum physics teaches. Physics teaches. It's not a neutral. It's not a neutral polarity. Does that make sense? Because we all say we're spirit beings. The spirit you can't see it, but then we say we can't see it, but then we say we're the universe. You can't see the universe. You know what I'm saying? See the universe. You know what I'm saying? You just know that it's a light spectrum that enters the body through the circadian rhythm that imprints on and that secretes hormones within the body. The ebb and flow. But can we see it? I mean, maybe if you get some special equipment, but can we see it? It interacts with different elements, but we can't naturally just see it in real time. You know what I'm saying? We just see the effect of it.
Peace, y'all. Peace.
Or we can build machines that Are you following me, Rashaud?
You kind of breaking up too.
Okay. I didn't know
Yeah, I
where
was
you
going
want
to
to
say that.
jump
You're breaking
into.
up a little bit too.
Yeah, I'm
Your
going through these
bars
damn
down.
trees.
Hero's journey.
Yeah, so we was talking about the unseen versus the seen, or the spirit realm versus the seen, or the spirit realm versus the physical realm. And I was saying that when the universe falls into suspension, it hits the first dimension first, which is the unseen universe. You know what I'm saying? So let me see if I can put this chart up. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, put your chart up. Let me visualize it.
I had gotten to this point, right, where let's say I was only gonna say the Most High, the Infinite, right? Because I can't fathom a point. I couldn't fathom things that seem to be a point or just a momentary point, but it would be infinite in whatever directions it's infinite in. With my spiritual vision of it, when I go outside and I look out into the, I can imagine things that make me overwhelmed by the intensity of the infiniteness of whatever's going on. Be a point and to see the concept, I get it. But I don't know about anything other than this shit just seems infinite to me.
It won't let me save the damn picture.
Peace, family. Let me take myself off Bluetooth real quick. Okay. While oh, he got the picture. Never mind. I'll talk after.
Peace, greetings.
Peace, how you
I
doing?
just wanted to add to you, Rashaud, when you were talking about infinite. Let me tell you what I saw. To infinity and beyond. You have to talk. To infinity and beyond.
Right.
Yourself, when parts of you will not open up. When you be parts of you will not open up. You're gonna have to like enjoy the kid of you, so that way certain things will open up in the adult of you, because the adult of us is the one that's programmed, like for real, for real. That's the one that, oh, that's not real. They didn't say that. Who is they? And then Gargamel, when you said that in Trisnic, the thing I thought about, that he was always trying to capture. I'm gonna let that one just sink in. If you ain't watched Gargamel, he was always after them for their Smurf stuff, which is their accent. Why are they blue? How can they la 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 la? And I like the Smurfs. I was a kid that watched cartoons. One that wasn't that program. I understood some things like, huh, what? Powers? And I am following you when you said, well, how you said watch cartoons. One that wasn't that program. He's simple. You can't see things first, but you believe or you're going to receive something, right? You know that you're going to receive something from my Dukes because she said she's going to give you something, but you do not know what that is. But everything in you has this thought of what it could be. So if you close your eyes, and you are doing real breathing meditation, and you pause your breath, your spirit is existing. It doesn't need oxygen. So if you believe that spirit is there, spirit is in the compartment, the avatar. Now we got a body for the spirit, and we have a soul, and all three have to get aligned. So it's like seeing without using your binoculars and using the insight that you actually have. If you take the word apart, it clearly says in sight. So that means you're going to have to tap into some areas of you that is past adult knowledge and go into your little kid self of you, the teenager, and use that to get to that space.
Right. So what I was getting at, I'm a mute for a second because my Bluetooth just went out, right? So when you looking at this chart, you see that if you take out the comments, the chakras only exist in the physical world, right? So when you look at the second dimension, it says subconscious, and then the first dimension is unconscious. They always make something before the subconscious because they want to imprint on the subconscious. So they make the unconscious. The unconscious is a fake universe. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play on your unconscious, your unawareness, to play into your subconscious. You see that? So now you think that something is that it is not. You know what I'm saying? Because now I didn't imprint it from your unconscious mind. You see what I'm saying? Because if the physical universe existed first, then humans wouldn't have no idea of what to do but just to act. Because that means a car would already be here. A plane would already be here. All these things would already exist in the physical world because we wouldn't have no ability of the mind. You know what I'm saying? We would just be in stimuli, just like an animal. You know what I'm saying? We would just be in a cycle of life, just experiencing life without able to create something as far as like a multiplicity of things. That's why when things like Kiana was saying, when something exists in the mind like a plane, guess what? We architect it and we build it. The only things that birds do is what? Build nests. Every animal only does with in their nature. You know what I'm saying? But humans go beyond the nature. We're able to manifest anything on this planet. You know what I'm saying?
Through a thought.
From a thought, right?
I wanted to show my
From a thought, right?
I wanted to show, well, those who don't know, I said I was going to create my own frame. So in Trisnic, the picture's done. And I'm going to show it. Hold on, where's my camera? Come on.
But that goes into if it don't mind, it don't matter, right?
Yeah, well, no, I understand that everything exists as a thought first, that all is mind. You know, spirit is mind, is consciousness. But I'm still just trying to figure out how is that the first dimension?
Oh yeah.
Like, how is that the first dimension?
When I get home in about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I can actually pull up on my laptop where I can actually show you how it works. You know what I'm saying? Whoever controls the first dimension, which you do understand the first dimension is darkness, right? That's why even in the Bible said that God moves upon the face of the deep. So to give homage to light, that's a second dimensional thing. You see what I'm saying? I'm a dark person. I'm not light. Dark, but people fail to realize, they be like, oh, light must be good, or light is this, or light is that, right? But dark is a spectrum of light. That's why when you shine dark light on something, you see plasma. It's a spectrum of light as well. It's just not how we perceive it, saying light is like a white light. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, y'all. I'm just cutting up my ginger.
It's already had the diamond art. Why I was doing this part, and I happened to sit outside, and my first thought, what are you talking about? Quit and said, do the frame yourself. And I saw the leaves and everything, but these aren't real. These come from Dollar Tree. And but I saw this around here, and that's what he's explaining. Is I created what I saw first. So self gave me what to do, which is the spirit and the soul inside of me spoke to me while I was creating this part and said, do your own frame. So I did my own frame. So it's creating from what you see within, not on the out. And what's within is dark. So in the darkness is where I saw what to do, because I shine bright with a dark, baby. I'm just saying, like, it's in that darkness. Stars shine. When you go outside, you actually see the stars, right? So if you sit within yourself, you get the same answers that you need, that you're questioning, that don't nobody know nothing about. You can also things dealing with your children, like yourself. When you go sit in that darkness, is going to guide you on how to deal with each one of those individuals. And I'm just saying that because I had 3. So each one's different. So I have to handle each one for who they are. So for yourself is going to give you what you need to do for yourself while you're here. But you have to go into the darkness and accept divine masculine and divine feminine of yourself, so that yourself can be in this total oneness and receive. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. I like your you call it a diamond painting? You call it a diamond painting?
Yeah, it's diamond art.
Yeah, I liked it.
And I saw, okay, so shout out to my kids' grandma and mama, their birthday day. That's what my son sent me for Christmas 2 years ago, was those wings. And so I saw how that's looking, and this is mine.
Hell yeah.
Create what you see in the dark. It's in the dark where all the magic is. I promise you it is. That's how I saw that. When the leaves wasn't working and I didn't know how to do the leaves so they wouldn't change colors, I said, okay, what am I supposed to do? I was laying here and going to sleep is when I saw the flowers, and they come from Dollar Tree. And I was like, oh, yeah. Then I had these little diamonds already. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to put them in the middle. That is you speaking to you. Because you're in tune with yourself, you're able to hear what nobody else can hear in the darkness of yourself. Darkness isn't bad. You the boogeyman. Isn't bad. You the boogeyman.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Cosmic Couch. Come in, take your shoes off, kick your feet up, where we talk about divine things, growth and development. I appreciate everybody for coming in. We have a gift goal. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all got it in you. I know you got it in you. And I know y'all been having so much fun you forgot to tap the screen. I get it. It's such a great place. You know, the Cosmic Couch is comfortable. You sit back, you get off lethargic. You forget to tap the screen. I get it. You know, we're learning. Gift the panel, amazing individuals, supreme wisdom.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay. So this is why I was confused. I'm gonna just tell y'all what I think, and then y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. So one-dimensional, and I just don't think that spirit is one-dimensional. Like thought is not one-dimensional. It takes many different forms. It has many different dimensions, and that's why I'm confused about you saying that spirit is the first dimension, meaning one-dimensional. When we as human beings, we're not even one-dimensional beings, and we're not greater than our spirit. So spirit can take many different forms, comes in many different dimensions. So it's not one-dimensional, but maybe I'm thinking of it wrong. So that's why I was trying to get you to explain it more.
I think he said in 10 minutes he'll be home and he can break that shit down. Then he said first dimension is fake. I was confused too.
Yeah, because our thoughts are multidimensional. Like she talked about her doing her painting and seeing the thought in her.
Mm-hmm.
It's many different dimensions to that. I'm trying to figure out how I can explain it clearly. Like when you have a thought, right? How can I say this? I
can't.
Yeah, I don't know how to. I'm thinking of a way to explain it good so that I can be understood clearly. But yeah, our thoughts are not one dimensional. Like when like when you bring, even when you bring it from your mind into this plane of existence, it becomes a three-dimensional thing because we live in a three-dimensional plane, right?
So look at it like this. Look at it like this. Not in that framework. That's trying to make rational physical out of it, right? But just looking at how expression work. So you subscribe to neuromelanin and like the different types of melanin.
Yeah, I know what neuromelanin is.
Okay. So when light hits the cornea of the eye through the circadian rhythm, it interacts with the type of melanin that you have in your brain. You ride with me so far?
Yep.
Dimensional concept because the type of melanin is one dimensional. You see what I'm saying? That means it's tapped into a certain frequency or one dimensional framework. Out of that one dimensional framework is out of that framework that gives you a 3D perception from the 1D. You know what I'm saying? So you take something that's flat and then you make it, you give it volume and value. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I do agree that it comes to a 3D, but it starts from a format. You know what I'm saying? And that format doesn't have to have the same base. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you really? Do you really?
And anybody else got something to explain it?
That wasn't a convincing yeah.
The input to, like.
I don't know. I've told myself not to speak on the behalf of others. Not to speak on the behalf of others. You know what I mean? Words are powerful.
Well, yeah, no, you don't got to understand it, and you can, you know what I'm saying, explain it clear. But you know what I'm saying, explain it.
And maybe we got. So what's the issue though? What is it that the?
I mean, it's really no issue. We can move on. I
Not
thought
really
we
an
was
issue. I
reading
mean,
the book. That's really why I
maybe
came
issue
up
is the
here.
wrong word. Issue is the wrong word. Maybe I should be saying situation. Shit.
No, I was saying that through thought, because we was talking about thought, right? That's what I was picking up where y'all left off, right? Thought. Different species have different densities of thought based on the type of melanin they have that interacts with light. We know that we're light beings. So I don't understand what's happening. If we say we're light beings, right? That's why every time I make a statement, I say, "Are you walking with me?" So I can see where. Because if I say, "Okay, you with me at 2, 1, 2, 3," okay. If I say 4 and you say I'm not with you, now we gotta see what's the breakup between 3 and 4. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like to walk with people through information. So therefore we can walk together. If we don't walk together, it's no use even talking because we're gonna have two perceptions trying to collapse at the same time, and they're never gonna come to a point. That's what a convex mind is and a concave mind is. The concave never crosses a point when the convex actually crosses a point.
Word. All right, let's keep going, y'all. This is where we stop. The spiral involution of energy into matter is the primary movement. Oh yeah, this is what we're reading, everybody. All right. The spiral involution of energy into matter is the primary movement of the universe into created beings. The spiral evolution of matter into energy is the creative movement of these beings, consciously evolving back to their source. Inhaling and exhaling breaths of living cosmos spirals the universe into creation and dissolution. Energy, matter, world, spirit. Radiant energy can be transformed into massive particles and vice versa. The spiral is the symbolic key to immortality. or eternal process and is identified with the moon. That's interesting. Right? Ancient as this cosmology is, it remains the most accurate statement of the cosmic process yet made. 20th century physicists, using their very different mathematical language, have only been able to confirm these ancient conceptions of how the universe creates and recreates itself. The world eggs, two halves, were white and black, light and dark, day and night, hot and cold, life and death. It contained within itself all oppositions, but it also stated the union of opposites, as the continuum is contained and synthesized within the spiral. Right? Ain't that what we was talking about yesterday, everybody? Right? I don't know who was here yesterday, but ain't that pretty much what we were talking about? Like towards the end, right? We did the numerical amount of those letters. We find ourselves back to the spiral. Damn, you missed it. The live yesterday was pretty cool. Yeah, we talked about the 9 and everything. In the Orient, some early time in the millennia before our era, this ideal was formalized in the concept of yin yang, right? Yes, with the 9. Yes, indeed. Peace, Paris. How you doing? Yin, or negative principle, originally referred to the dark or shadow side of a mountain. It shared attributes with the earth, moon, and water. Yang, or positive principle, signifying bright banners in the wind or the light side of a mountain, right? Was linked with the sky, sun, and fire. After several generations of Eastern philosophers, everything became classified under those categories, including sexes. Yin was female and yang was male, right? But this Eastern dualism differed originally from the moralistic dualism of the Christian West. Yin and yang were not seen as hostile or irreconcilable opposites vying for control over the universe, nor was one good or the other evil. On the contrary, yin and yang constantly complemented each other. I like that. What y'all like about how y'all feel about constantly complimenting each other? Right?
Balance, right? Balance.
You know what I'm saying? Where the hell was that? Oh yeah, yin and yang constantly complement each other, right? To maintain cosmic harmony. Damn, that's beautiful. Right? Because God is not a him. God is a him. Right? God is not a H-I-M. God is a H-Y-M-N. We need to have some harmony in this grand orchestra and be masters of self, or the maestro, right? And they are not fixed, static principles, but transform each other and transmute into each other in an ongoing process. Without the eternal movements and interchanges of these forces, life wouldn't exist. Winter, which is yin, changes into summer, which is yang. Both yin and yang can create, both can destroy. The life-giving sun, which can also scorch and kill life, gives way to the dark, barren cold of the earth, in which new life seeds will invisibly germinate. Y'all got anything to say, or y'all like my reading voice? You feel me? Y'all just been quiet. That's cool. The yin
Well,
yang.
you're reading. I just wanted you to know gratitude because my hands is busy over here. I can't magically tap or anything. I just
You
had to
better
pop
use
in
your
real quick.
toes, Kiana. You better tap
I'm
that
over here
goddamn
like,
screen.
yeah. When you said compliment, I'm like, did he feel me say that right there? Because if it's yin and yang, which is we say I'm yin, you're saying you're yin and yang. So that means the balance of self does look like a whole bunch of other things. But one I really like, what would it look like if you actually complimented yourself back and forth? Ooh.
The
Ooh.
beautiful thing, yes, because we are the echo of oneness, right? So that man,
I like
What if,
Yes, like really giving yourself, like I have been lately. I'm so proud of you, Key. Oh, good job. You kept your word to yourself and you did that. Like that energy that I'm raising of myself and the frequency all coming together. It's just like what he just said, complimentary of myself. Back to myself. Go ahead, brother.
I love that.
you see that it said the one side of the mountain was dark and the one side of the mountain was light, and that how the dark side and the earth side give homage to the air. And then the second phase, which you was talking about, how the coolness or the frozen of the dark, right?
Right.
When you blow cool air on water, what does it do?
Freeze?
Move.
How cool?
It moves. It moves. I mean, if you're blowing your breath on the water, it's moving, flowing.
Cool air freezes.
Oh, some hot.
Yeah, it freezes.
Yeah, freezes. So that's what they teach. It's a principle teaching. So if I freeze your water, if I freeze your flow, like you were saying, Kiana, if I freeze your flow, right, which is your essence, and I pick you up as a block of ice, and I put you into a flow. Let's just say that flow is on a conveyor belt now. You know what I'm saying? Now I can control your spirit, and I can harness your energy. You see what I'm saying?
It flows for me because I worked at Whirlpool. And when you put the thing on there, which is the pieces, because we put the washing machine or whatever, the stove together. But he's saying, take me. First of all, freeze me first. First, you got to catch me because I'm a fire dragon. So first, you got to catch me. It's gonna be on fire, and I deal with ice too. So this is about to be fun. Then you gonna catch me and put me on that conveyor belt, and I'm frozen. I'm talking about Antarctica, Atlantic frozen because I saw how it looked. I'm like, I don't like you. Take me back off, okay? I'm cool. I got the message. It's like it should resonate so quickly if you're seeing it. You got to see it in the darkness, not with your binocular, not these two things they gave right there. You got to visualize it inside. And as I do, I'm like, I ain't like that. I got to get like, what's the name? I ain't like that at all. With my banana. I don't like that.
So look at it like this. If air is a second dimensional thing, right? And earth is a second dimensional thing, and let's just say water and fire is a first dimensional thing, right? If I'm a second dimensional air trying to control the water, I would just freeze it. But if I want to give homage to the first dimension, I would just take fire, heat up water, and create what? Precipitation do. It goes into the what? The air. These are principles. You see what I'm saying? So now the dark becomes light.
Indeed.
I guarantee they're not going to tell you to heat up water in those same principles, because like they said, once Eastern philosophy came into it, they changed it.
Hell yeah, that's that magic shit. The ethers and shit. They show that in like those different alchemical like pictures where it's like wood burning and the smoke represents that process that you were just talking about.
Exactly.
Well, not the smoke burning, but the wood burning and the smoke rising.
Exactly. That's why then they used to burn crosses, the wood burning, the smoke rising.
Hell yeah. It's crazy. All right, let's keep going, y'all. We cooking. Tap the screen, y'all. We got a gift goal. I know your fingers ain't broke, but if we don't get that gift goal, they might be. You know what I'm saying? But it's all out of love, right? We're here for each other. Support. The yin yang images and conceptual categories are pagan from the land, since they emerge from close, prolonged experience and observation of natural processes. These processes are not linear, but cyclic. Life transmutes into death, which turns into life again, in a great revolving wheel. The moon goes through its changes, dies, and is reborn in a circling cosmos. And so the moon is the avatar processes. The psychic is the mutual antagonism, but just mutations, the dance. When I say God is a hymn, like music, we need to be in harmony so we can dance together, just like the universe does, right?
Why you said that, and I immediately had a vision in my mind of all of us around the bonfire at night just dancing.
Oh shit, you trying to do some wicked shit in the woods.
Oh man, that just took me back to something. I don't know what that took me back somewhere. Okay. All right.
Hell yeah. Of the polarities. Later, Mandarin philosophers like Confucius used the yin-yang principles to serve the hierarchic politics of the Chinese court and the patriarchal state, emphasizing dominant yang over submissive yin. Uh-oh, y'all. They trying to play with y'all, huh? Early Taoist, though, gave full value to the negative force or shadow side, yin, as a creative force equal to the yang. Taoism, a mystic and sexual religious philosophy, originated in ancient Chinese matriarchy, which saw the male as the earth animal. I ain't no animal. I'm a god. And the female as the animal of change or transforming principle. The original I Ching characters for the female and male principles, the receptive and the creative hexagrams contain these matrifocal meanings also. As Western alchemists and later Western physicists. All right, that's strike one now. So now just playing. Receptive and creative hexagrams contain these matrifocal meanings also, as Western alchemists and later Western physicists were to confirm. It is the negative pole that initiates the creative activity of matter. Some physicists theorize that the universe began to organize, gathering shape and motion in the shadow sides of randomly scattered particles. Also, until recently, scientists have assumed that the weight of the universe was in bright stars and speedy particles. But now they have found enormous amounts of dark, cold matter circling the stars and all galactic bodies, and this matter is preponderant and responsible for the weight of the universe, which functions as gravity, as they report. The structure of the whole universe appears to be shaped by the gravity of dark matter. That dark matter energy that they be talking about, huh?
Didn't I talk about that? Didn't I talk about that earlier? How gravity is one object engulfing another object to its center?
Is that the center you were talking about?
Yeah.
But it's continuous. It's not. It's like just a center of polarity, but it's forever.
Yeah, it's continuous because remember I was saying that energy itself doesn't move; it just expands and contracts. And remember, it said when it engulfs darkness, it puts itself in motion. That part that sentence you just read like 3 sentences back. when they talk about movement.
Gathering shape and motion.
Exactly.
And the shadow side of randomly scattered particles.
That part.
That was the ly you talked about earlier.
Yep.
The motion. The doing the shit.
And what is the shadow?
And all those things.
The shadow is the what? The appearance of what? Darkness.
Indeed. Onto a what?
Onto a what? What you mean?
It's an appearance of darkness, but onto what?
Onto continuum. It's a continuum of whatever that represents, whatever that shadow is projecting.
What does it touch to make the shadow?
Doesn't touch it. It doesn't touch anything. It emanates. You see, it emanates. That's it. It doesn't need a physical thing to interact with.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's all darkness, where does the shadow come from?
If it comes from within. That's the polarity. You see what I'm saying? How we see shadows.
But that means light always existed then. They exist together from in infinity.
Well, that's only when you're looking at it from a outside perspective. Like when you look at it from an outside perspective, light shines on something to emanate a shadow. You see what I'm saying?
That's the teamwork that makes it create.
Right. From an external value point, yes, not an internal. Internal, it works differently. That's what the polarity is. You see what I'm saying?
Sorry, I thought you was finished.
No, I was finished.
Okay. No, I just wanted to say something to that part where they were talking about the Taoism.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen the show on Netflix called Tao? They spell it not Tao but Tau.
Nah, I ain't seen that yet.
Well, that show is depicting. No, it's called Tao. It's a show about a woman. She was kidnapped, and they put her in this house. She was kidnapped by this man, and he put her in the house. But it was a artificial intelligence that controlled the house. That she had to like transform into human to like have human emotions to help her escape. So what they were saying about the transformation right there was depicted in that show, the Tao. They spell it Tau instead of Tao, but it's the same word because vowels are interchangeable. And that word is also the Tav, like in Hebrew, which is the seal. It represents the seal. So like when Revelations talk about the seal on the head, it's talking about the Tav, which can be written as the letter X, but if you turn it over, it's the cross.
Oh, now you're cooking.
Yeah, so it's all depicted in that show to the Tao. I was hoping somebody had seen it. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, watch it. It's called I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but it should be. They don't take movies off like real fast. But it's called the Tao.
You said it's a cross?
Yeah, so it's the X. And if you
it's the X, that's crazy because then if you just replace that U with the X, it becomes tax. that's what they doing everybody.
Well, it represents the T. So like if you write it in R, it's just T. So you get the cross. But it's really the letter X.
I get it.
And so it just they if you look so we was talking about I came in yesterday I think for just a second and I heard you talking about how nature all the nature is used to like create. So like the fire, the wind, earth, water is used to create. So if you know about the golem, that's how they created the golem. So like if you ever watched the movie The Golem, in the movie the woman, she had a child and she had lost a child and she wanted to create another child. But she didn't want to have another child because she was scared that the child would die or whatever. So she made a golem and that's what she used. She used all of the elements, so earth, water, fire, etc. And the mark on the golem's head is the tav. So they put a mark on the head, which means truth, emet, and they showing you that that's the seal too. But yeah, it's a lot to go into that. But
Nah, that makes a lot of sense. That kind of goes into like the cosmic creation, right? But what is it? You know, because it's the four elements inside of us as well. But we have, you know, what, a soul, spirit, and things like that. What does the golem have?
yeah, that's the only thing about the golem. Don't have. Well, I don't necessarily believe it has spirit. I don't know, but technically, when you put all the elements together, it's supposed to create spirit. Like we talked about earlier, the fifth element, how all of those elements came together, and she was in the middle. She was representing the spirit.
Thanks.
But
So it probably has a spirit, like just the breath of life or the spirit of life, but it don't have no soul.
yeah, I don't really know about that part. But that's how she created the golem in the movie. So I found that interesting. Like she went through the scripture because they say it's a hidden code in the scripture that show how God created. And like you got to just watch the movie. It's called The Golem. But she went through and found the hidden code, and she was out there. She had all of the elements, and she had created a golem, a little boy. But she ended up having to, they had to kill him in the end because that's why I said I don't really know if it's a soul or what. The golem was attached to her, so whenever somebody tried to harm her or anything, it would be like killing people and stuff that was harming her. So she could really control it. You know what I'm saying? It was just doing stuff like it wasn't bad, but like whenever somebody did something to her,
Yeah, Pinocchio
it didn't like that.
Pinocchio was like that. Pinocchio is a little golem in reality. In a sense, they just put that shit into a little wooden body. But yeah, you remember how he acted? That's why he kept getting in so much situations, because he didn't listen and he was just doing all kind of shit. Right?
Yeah, he wanted to be a real boy.
Yeah. He wasn't going to school. He was like, fuck all that shit. I'm trying to party.
So I had a different analogy right quick before y'all close so we can connect. Like I always like to connect and don't leave things open. So you know how you say you're dealing with your shadow self, Rashaud?
Right.
That's your inner self that you're emanating inside, but you may not see it. So now you got to go inside yourself to see about your shadow self that you're emanating with inside. That's the inner shadow. But the outer shadow would be what you're talking about, the actual physical object shadow. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying now?
But the only reason I find that inner shadow is because there's a light that shines special for you and me.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I want to say the soul is the spirit is a light within us. It's a light within itself.
Right. Because remember I was saying earlier, even darkness is a spectrum of light. People just don't think it's light. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you, but nigga, there gotta be a light for the shade. I mean, for the
shadow. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It is light, but it's not the context of white light. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I was like, huh?
It's got to be brighter than a darkness, so it has to be a polarity.
That part, yeah.
I have a question. What is the name of the book again?
Oh, it's A Great Cosmic Mother.
Okay, thank you.
I'm trying to be safe.
And it's called
covers before they say I'm trying to sell shit.
It's also called Somebody Been Lying. You gotta get that one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get that one too.
Yeah. That should be the first one you get. Somebody's Been Lying. Words, spells, and curses.
Oh, that's a book. I just thought you guys were talking.
Oh no.
That's the name of a book called Somebody's Been Lying. Let me write that down.
I ain't never been just talking.
I know,
Kiana,
but when you're
I ain't never
saying
been just talking. I want you to know that now. You feel me? When you come around
when
here,
you're
I ain't
saying
never just
somebody,
talking. You feel?
anyways, that listen when it's in a sentence. Somebody's
I
just
ain't never just
You
talking.
see
like
you see what he got up there, right, Kiana?
I got you.
You see the name at the top though, right?
See, look, I got mine today.
I see his name up there. That way he want me to see. I see his name up
I
there.
wanted. Oh, I mean, I just wanted you to see it so you could go get yourself a copy.
I surely am. I don't know why you think I'm not. It's
I guess
a book
everybody else wanted
by
you
the
to see
brother. And then I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of all of us. If you got book in your system, you guys, hey, let's just get with each other and figure out how to write these books.
Facts. Y'all ready? What has been called the dark, the negative, the female, in both the celebratory and pejorative senses, is now seen to be the original creating and sustaining force of the universe. If the expanding universe is ever to contract again, it will be from the gravity of this dark matter, the corruption of the original yin yang oracular mystical synthesis. Hey, she be cooking with her wordplay in this motherfucker. Like, that's one thing I gotta say. I be like getting tongue tied, trying to put together these goddamn super sentences. She creates super sentences. A dualistic system of hierarchy, dominance, and oppression occurred in the East and in the West in the shift of human culture from land tribal to court hierarchy, i.e., in the shift from matrifocal rural to a patrifocal urban society social structures. In the patriarchal struggle for property and power, the yin yang equation became a tool, a weapon of inequality and repression, both economic and sexual. Now the yin, as receptive feminine, was interpreted as sexual, intellectual, and spiritual passivity, inferiority, and subordination. Yang, as active masculine, was interpreted as sexual, intellectual, and spiritual aggression, superiority, and dominance. In the West, also those religiously institutionalized sexual dualism have created the idea of heterosexual patriarchal marriage, in which a sexually oppressed and economically dependent wife serves a sexually and economically dominant husband. And we already know what's up with the wife and husband curse. We already put that shit together, so we ain't even playing into that bullshit. Serves a sexually and economically dominant husband. These concepts are highly political and serve to maintain and justify patriarchy and the subjugation of women. Yin wisdom is scorned by men as irrational weakness, and yang power is used to justify any kind of exploitative action, no matter how unjust and brutal. But these are not the original meanings of these terms. The original meanings apply to the interworkings of rather impersonal and certainly non-domestic forces, much like the negative and positive electrical poles in a battery. As R. Buckminster Fuller put it, energy, when its potential is built to sufficient voltage. Hey, where's Rip at? Damn. Where's Rip at? This is the one time where he could have been. He's missing out. He done went to sleep, y'all. Y'all remember he was in here talking about arcs and arches and arcs all like for like 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if y'all remember that. It was a couple of days ago. He done missed out. He was talking about that shit earlier today too, wasn't he, y'all? Oh shit! I guess I had already read that, or maybe I accidentally skipped it. Yeah, I didn't read none of that. How did I skip that whole chapter? Maybe we were meant to start here. What y'all think? Y'all think we were just meant to start there? Did I skip that chapter somehow? That's crazy.
Look, everything is as it should be.
It is, because that's like the only, there ain't like, if there would be highlights if I read that shit. So I must have just skipped it on accident. It's only like, yeah, I probably accidentally skipped it because it's only like a page. So I probably was just moving too fast and just skipped the whole chapter. It is what it is, y'all. Y'all got anything to say based on what we've just read? Y'all, hey Rashaud, read that book. Everybody wanted me to read it. Read the book, Rashaud. Read the goddamn book. We made it to chapter 3 on here. This is a grimoire, right? That should be.
Which grimoire are we reading? Can you? I did not screenshot it. If you don't mind, what was it? As soon as it come out, oh, there you go. Screenshot. Thank you, sir. You're so kind.
This has been good so far.
Indeed, it has.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Everything's tying together.
What you always say, isn't everything connected? It always comes back into itself, no matter where it comes from. Oh, and before we get too far, and I wanted to say something about the gods, because that's why what I came up here originally for. Because intrinsic, I believe you were saying like one god for one thing, one god for this thing, or you the gods they play. We can like say use your god for this and you use your god for that, but I offer the perspective that all gods come from one. So it's different aspects of one. Would you say, would you agree, would you or what would you think, like what do you think about that? Like do you believe that, not saying do you believe, that's not the correct words. But yeah, like it all comes from one, no matter what your what the name is, like what name you call that god, it all goes back to the first name, to the first vibration.
Damn, I hope he heard you.
Or anyone else can be open to saying, so because I don't know if he made it home yet, and if he's looking for the information he was speaking on earlier.
That's my son in the background. I am God Frequency. I don't even know what he's saying. And I don't think it's real words or nothing. He's just back there saying stuff. He's just back there making up songs.
Goddess, what was your question again?
Oh, I was saying that would you say that even though there are different names for different gods, would you say that they are all aspects of one, because we all came from oneness, and so it is her portraying herself in these different aspects, but it's all one, no matter the name, it's all one. Would you?
I resonate with that. I genuinely resonate with that because one had to create, like one, and with that, when you do the work, your self work, right? You actually see the different versions of you with different people, places, things, and environments, and you still are one. No matter, you still are one. No matter, oh, I'm over there with, say, you and me and you hanging out, and then I leave and say, oh, I got to go over here to this establishment that I don't work at. I'm just making up something. Don't work at. I'm like in this total zone. I got to get this done, but I'm still the I agree with you. And I don't know how that is, but I really still the same me. So I agree, know that, if that makes sense. Now science and science and physics and all that, Key don't do all that. I'm learning now the real science and physics because I didn't like science in school. I didn't like physics. The only thing I liked in school was math. Numbers made sense. They didn't. I graduated, but numbers made sense. Everything else didn't because you didn't have nobody to relate with. And now that I do, that relates with me. That makes sense to me. Is all the different gods, all the different names. It's still all gonna be one though. I'm with you.
Gratitude. Brass Prophet 212, you said you kind of don't agree because everything is two and not one, but the cosmic mother is the balance and harmony of those things. So it's still the two become one. Do you, or where I'm coming from?
Or the two comes from the one.
Exactly.
Comes from the one.
Exactly. Which I learned from I Am God Frequency.
Yeah,
Yes.
so the singularity, and I seen that Intrinsic had, it was on his chart. Just pulled it up, the singularity. So if that's what he was meaning by the spirit being one dimension, meaning it's singularity, I agree that it's a singularity, just not that dimension, meaning it's dimension. Because being singular don't mean that you're one dimensional. Like I'm one person, but I'm not one dimensional. Like I don't know if I'm saying your name right, Kiana was just saying, I'm one person, but
It's
I'm a
Kiana.
mother. I'm sorry, what is it?
Kiana.
Kiana.
Key. Yeah, like key to your heart. Key.
Okay. So yeah, like you were saying, I'm one person, but I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister. It's many dimensions to me, even though I'm the one being. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if that's so I don't know if that's what he was showing, like spirit is singularity. I definitely agree with that, but I just don't think that is the singularity is one dimensional.
Right, that's how I look at it. Cause like infinite, that's like they
Infinite times foreverness.
yeah, like they run into each other, and that's where they both coexist in like this mixture of each other. But where they both coexist in like even when there was darkness, there was light. Right?
Absolutely.
I agree. So we've been reading this book in the book club on another. I told y'all earlier, Outwitting the Devil. And I can't talk on the phone. That's why I don't get on panels. There'd be too much going on in my background. But in the book, like Napoleon Hill is written by, and he who wrote Think and Grow Rich. But in the book, he's interviewing the devil who wrote Think and Grow Rich to him about him and God must both exist because Napoleon was asking him like, pretty much like, why don't God get rid of you? Type of thing. And he was like, you can't have one without the other. You can't have good without bad. You can't have joy without sad. You can't have light without dark. Both are like two sides of the same coin. You see what I'm saying? So you cannot have one. One cannot exist without the other.
Absolutely. Let's grow a garden in the comments, guys. Tap the screen. Because, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I'm loving this information. Loving this information. These gem droppers, okay?
I just wanted to say to Rashaud, not to Rashaud if this was him, if I'm not mistaken, he says, I gotta get real with it. And he was like, I just like to cuss. He was like, I just like to cuss. Was that you last night?
Yeah.
Okay. And when he started and Cosmo started and Cosmo, if you don't like my mouth, I don't give a damn. I gotta say it how I feel it, see it, and experience it. Because now that's when I'm in my highest expression.
Indeed.
Don't
Another reason
condemn
why I feel like
anything of you. I'm serious. You elegant, as a melanin man said. Look, I can't be doing this elementary way of saying this because this is in me. I commend you for that. But the more that the divine masculine sets up, it allows me to embrace that part of me. That's you. That's why it be like, oh, go ahead, bruh. Because I got to accept and embrace that of myself too. When these people out here embrace that of myself too, what dims your light. That right there. And it came that right there. And it came to me just like that because I don't know how old this brother is. I don't even care. It's just the fact of I asked for something and I'm just now the post of the wisdom of the ancients is the solution. And that's something you don't know of the ancients is the solution. And that's something you don't know. Our Akashic records. Forget somebody else looking at me, Let me see me. Whatever the hell I gotta do to do that shit, I'm gonna do it, bruh. The hell I gotta do to do that shit, I'm gonna do it, bruh. You keep.
I appreciate you so much.
Y'all know what the cosmic couch remind me of?
What is
Couch remind me of watching I was a kid. Maybe I used to watch it too.
The
The
big
big
comfy
comfy
couch.
couch. Yeah.
Yes. You know what? Anytime that we say something that we watched when we were children, we was watching that together. Now we're
pretty much
adults. Yes. Even though we weren't there in the same physical room, we was in a room. We was in a spiritual classroom so that we would never forget who we do this work, you guys. Continue reading, brother.
or we were all getting goddamn programmed together at the same time.
Well, I try to
For
forget
real.
about that one.
Is sitting on the couch going crazy. Just so we could go to school and get in fights with each other and shit. They had us all jacked up. We were supposed to be outside eating fruits and vegetables and learning how to garden and learning about the stars and shit. Right? They done played us, but it's okay. We're gonna get it. You feel me? We're gonna fix these things, and we're gonna fix these things. And me and I got some brothers that are we're gonna do lives together. We're gonna teach people how to farm because I'm just in the yard. I don't know what you would call that, but
what you said is farming.
yeah, we're gonna teach some folks how to grow some food, right? On your balcony, on your porch, in your yard, whatever you got. You just need some sun, right? But we definitely gonna do it. There's gonna be seeds available and all kind of things, right? On the TikTok shop, right? Yeah, we're gonna do that. and we're gonna do it on live so you can see the processes. I'm gonna try to get my sister involved. You know, she don't have to be on camera, but I go to her house and we put seeds and planting trays together and we talk about life. You know what I'm saying? That's one of me and my sister's things, you know, around springtime. We hang out a lot more than we do in the winter and the fall. Well, you know, yeah, the spring a whole lot. We're going to try some new things. So there's some new things that she wants to introduce me to. Yeah, just do it. So when she's teaching me, I'm going to just be live showing what she's doing so we all can do it together. Right? It's like a drum. But to be honest with you, I think it's, I could tell empty milk jugs. You're going to need empty milk jugs. And I'm going to call my sister in the next few days. She probably already did it because my sister don't really play around. She'd be so far ahead of me. By the time the spring comes, she already I'd be like, damn, playing catch up. So I'm trying to keep up with her this year. So I'm gonna call her in the next few days and see what she got going on. And if she hasn't done it yet, my sister, because I'm still gonna go there and she's gonna show me how to do it. Milk jug.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do my garden this year. I did one bed last year, and it didn't really do that well because I had just moved and I had to start all over. And I don't think so. Normally, I just like I flip the soil, like you go 6 inches and you flip the soil. But because we had just moved here, I had to make my whole bed from scratch again. And I didn't feel like taking up the grass and doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like sheet that you put down to kill the grass and you just put your dirt over that.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that and I don't really think it was the best. I don't think my roots was able to go deep enough.
Oh, look, so I'm gonna tell you, and I wish I would have came across what, and I wish I would have came. I didn't want to dig nothing either, but I went to the corner store kind of shit down the street, and I was like, yo, I was like, when is y'all trash day? Because they sell beer. And I was like, when's y'all trash day? And he was like, on Wednesday. And then I was like, all the boxes, just leave them right here and I'll come get them. He was like, man, if you promise to get them, I'll give them to you. I said, I promise, just leave them. I went there, I got all the boxes I needed, and I built my whole entire garden using those boxes. And when I put the dirt on it and I watered it and all that shit,
It's biodegradable, so it breaks down.
Exactly. You go back and that shit is gone.
Yeah, so I had a bunch of boxes too that had been sitting out there. They had been rained on. They kind of looked like mold was gone. So that's why I didn't want to use them. But that was going to be the first thing that I was going to do was use the boxes because I know that it's biodegradable and it would break down. But here I am trying to be fancy. I done went and got the garden stuff that you put in the bottom of the bed that kill the grass and all of that. And yeah, I just don't think that the roots got deep enough. Like my herbs didn't even do good. My herbs usually them grow with like no, you know what I'm saying? Bottom of the root. Like at my old house, my basil and all of that stuff was. I had oregano throughout my whole backyard because it had grew out of the box and it just started spreading around. So it was just patches of oregano everywhere. But at my old house though, like I said, I had took all the grass off, which was a lot of work, you know. Then I had flipped the soil 6 inches and then I added manure to the soil. And one year I think I added like some peat moss and manure. So it had been that same soil because we lived there for like 8 years. You know what I'm saying? So the soil good, you know what I'm saying, from all of the years before that I was gardening.
Indeed.
Yeah, but this soil years before that I was a bad deal. It was a bad deal.
And look, this year,
Bad deal.
and look, this year, You're gonna be all right because we us together. Everybody's gonna have something by the end by fall. We all should be on live. Everybody should be like, "Yo, Rashaud, let me up," because we're all gonna be bragging about what we grew this year, right? That's like, I want y'all to know. Though I'm taking the route that I'm taking because this is the kind of shit I like to study. My main purpose of these lives is like returning to nature, right? Returning to nature, right? But I just personally like magic and grimoires and dark shit and all that.
Rashaud.
I'm a
What's your sign, Rashaud?
I'm a Cancer.
Okay, yeah, water sign. I could see that. You know what? My sister a Cancer, my daughter a Cancer. I'm a Pisces, but I don't know. Y'all can't. Maybe the male Cancers is different. Here I go. Maybe the male Cancers is different.
We're the best, but it definitely is. Hold on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cancer, we're the best. Sorry that my son came to talk to me real quick. But yeah, we're the best, Right? I ain't never had nobody complain about my sign, When they get to know me, they complain about me, They complain about me,
I don't know. When somebody get on your bad side, like I said, it might be different for the males. But like
sign.
most, baby, they don't play no games, okay? That water turned into a hurricane.
I mean, I guess it can. I've never really been like I don't like violence.
You might
I've never really been like I don't like violence.
have some.
That are close to me, that have ever been close to me. It doesn't make me feel good, sensation that doesn't feel right.
Well, yeah, you might have a lot of other planet because when you look at your whole natal chart, you might have a lot.
I got Cancer on there like 4 times.
Dang, really? Old natal. Yeah, I don't know.
That's why we want. Instead of hurting things, I want to nurture. Things.
Yeah, my daughter a Cancer and my sister a Cancer, and they be crying. And my sister a Cancer, and they be crying.
Oh, she was just about to. She was. You think she ain't have nothing in her hands? No, but I guess she ain't have nothing in her hands. No, but I guess maybe sometimes I do be feeling that, and like I do feel that way sometimes. Like, but it has to get real bad. Like if you make me upset, the first thing that I can really think about is like how you deserve to not be here no more.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
But those are
my daughter lives somewhere else, and I live where I do, because we not about to do that. Because I think instantly like that all the time. So who gonna win? I'm just saying, like, that's loving yourself, all of you, right? And I laugh at the Cancers. Let me tell you why. Because they big crybabies.
Oh shit.
And
they
real
is
sensitive.
big crybabies. They don't want to do anything. That's just love and get along.
Come on, let's not. Okay, hold on now. Hold on.
She must be a Cancer
not
too.
too much now. Not too much. We are going to.
I ain't even gonna lie though.
Now we gotta. Hold on. Not too much on Cancer. Hold on, I got you. Let's also look at the flip side of Cancer. Okay, let's look at the flip side because there's 2 sides. There's more than one side. Yes, they may be a touch, but they also, you said you're a nurturer, right? You're more nurturing than you want. Mind you, not only do you nurture, but you can destroy. They can be a little. You don't want to mess with them, especially when it comes to what and who they love, because they are going. Because Tim,
family, okay?
Absolutely.
Hang that up.
They cry baby.
They're not gonna play with you about is family and feelings, okay? Remember the 2 F's.
Crybaby warriors.
Family and feelings, okay?
Yes, crybaby warriors. Telling you, they work out. Yes, crybaby warriors.
Okay, for the people on the back who did not hear us.
She told me, "Ma, I'm just an emotional gangster. That's all." I just looked at her like, "Oh my God, this is what I created."
Okay, period. Yes.
Oh, y'all funny. I used to watch. I used to watch movies with my ex, right? And I'd be crying and shit, and I'd look at her, and she just sitting there like, and I'm like, God damn,
I'm hollering right now.
I'm like, let me suck it up.
It's okay.
And I used to tell her, I'm like, God damn, that this shit don't make you cry. I'm like, this shit is deep. God damn.
It's okay, Rashaud. It's okay, Rashaud. I used to cry. I used to cry watching movies too when I was younger. That's what I ain't even gonna hold y'all. Like me and my mama got kicked out. We got kicked out of the movie theater when I was. I'm so serious, y'all. All jokes, like we got kicked out of the movie theater when The Lion King first came out. Simba's father died. I busted out crying, and they could not get me to stop crying in that movie theater. And my mama messed around and threw away $100. I mean,
that shit destroyed a lot of children.
huh?
That shit destroyed a lot of children.
It really did, like for real.
Traumatic.
It was
traumatic.
It was traumatic.
Okay.
It was too much. It was too much. Every time you turn around.
Goddamn.
Okay, listen, I'm not a Cancer, but I am emotional. I'm an emotional gangster. I'm an emotional gangster too, because what bad people, Aquarius is. And then on top of that, I'm an Aquarius stellium. Okay, so throughout my chart,
too.
okay?
Me too.
So,
I got a stellium in Aquarius too.
I'm a Sagittarius stellium. I ain't got time for y'all over here crying now.
But listen, I cry in
if it touches my soul,
it does though. Hey, feelings be for real though. Yeah, feelings be for real.
That makes me cry because that means it's good. Okay.
No, see, yeah, I'm one of them type of crybabies that when I'm done crying, it's time for me to go to sleep. Y'all go ahead and hang that up. I'm gonna go. Y'all go ahead and hang that up. I'm gonna go to sleep.
okay,
I got to.
It requires, because it's a cleansing.
Yeah. So it's over with. I'm so serious, y'all, and I'm gonna get my blanket and tuck in. Okay. It's over with.
That part. Okay.
Hey, look,
naps
y'all.
are important. Okay, naps are important.
Right.
Hey, naps are important.
Right.
Yeah, we've been doing good, y'all. We've been making a lot of progress.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of y'all. Y'all should be proud of yourselves. We've been reading like 3 books.
Yeah.
We cooking for real. Like, we got a lot going on. Everybody's being consistent. I appreciate that. And y'all are repeating and y'all will mention like what it reminds you of based on what things that you've experienced in your life or what you've experienced in these lives learning together. That shit is amazing to me.
And shout out to you, Professor.
Ooh. Shout out to me.
What?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to me.
Come on now.
Shit alive. Shout out to Rashaud Poet.
Okay. Shout out to
alive.
Rashaud Poet.
You know what I'm saying?
Professor Wise.
You feel me? And I'm just trying to stay afloat.
I want to start a book club too. So like I'm a part of this book club.
Wait, don't come in here talking about copying.
No. Look, I was actually inspired from this other book club that I'm in. The only thing is I want to do like a spiritual book club where we read spiritual book club where we read spiritual books and break down, alchemy and all of that kind of stuff. It's like the book club that I'm in now, but it's like you can't really conversate because
I'm a jealous man, Hey, look, hey, they say ye are gods. I'm the jealous god, kind of. Ye are gods.
Look, as a
These other book clubs and shit. But what you're talking about, I like. Amazing club.
Yeah, it's just because like certain stuff you can't talk about with everybody, you know what I mean? So I want to do a book club where I can actually talk about that kind of stuff. Because even though it's in the books that we read it, if other people in the group are not really aware of what they read and they kind of just reading, and then you start pointing stuff out, everyone in the group like, which, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? You're reading this book? Like, you're reading this book? Like, you know what I'm saying? But oh, it's kind of weird for me. But
Would you go into one that already exists?
yeah.
Like that, because you helped me. I was having a conversation, and we were talking about like just really manifest the right people. You don't. I'm gonna. I really manifest, and it's really like a natural growth and a natural direction. Is like destiny for these things to make it more fun. So I will inbox you after this is over.
I'll be looking for it because I definitely do. I like learning new information, and stuff. But it's like, you know how people be on different levels of information and y'all all different levels of information. Because you might have more information in a certain area that people are not really ready to open up to yet.
Right. Now I get it. Surface level shit, and then they don't want to go into the depths of it. So then you hold back or you tell them, and they act like you done said the craziest thing they ever heard in their life. But it's like, this is part of this shit. Like, you can't be stuck. Speaking of dimensions, that's how I be looking at dimensions. Like, you can't be stuck in this dimension over here when there's so much more to it, up and down.
There's just so many levels.
Exactly.
Levels.
Exactly.
It's levels.
Time to expand and elevate further.
It's layers. Like terminology and the semantics and all of that stuff. So we was reading a book, and in the book it was talking about the infinite mind, the infinite knowledge of the universe. And because I like talking about the universe, and because I said Akashic records, everybody like, and we don't deal with all, and I'm just like, it's the same thing as the infinite mind that we're reading about. It's just a different terminology. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh my God, this is just too. Yeah.
I know what you mean. And she knows I write books, so she got my recent book, and I was like, she's a church lady, so I was like, well, you might want to read it first. And she was like, no, it's all right. I was like, all right. And I guess she told her book club, and they were like, well, it's your nephew. Of course we're gonna read it. And she read it. They were reading it, and then she called me and she was like, I love how you use the Bible references and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah. I was like, what chapter are you on? She was like, chapter 2. She was like, it's very interesting. I was like, all right. Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, she ain't called me back since, so she must have. I don't know what chapter they made it to, but she ain't called me back to say nothing. I don't know.
I'm dead. That is hilarious. But yeah, that's exactly how it is. You know what I'm saying? And it's just weird because it's like, why dabble in something if you're really not going to get to the root of it? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all want to play around with it. I don't want to play around with it. I want to go all in. Like,
right. I want to take my time. I think that's the thing with me. I be taking my time, and then when I'm on these lives, I be kind of like, damn, trying to move fast, and that ain't how I operate. Like in any aspect of my life, I don't operate like fast. I'm laid back in all aspects of life. You feel me? Yeah. You feel me? People already know this. People, they don't have to walk behind me because I'm about to walk slow. Right? About to walk slow. Right? People that love me tell me, just get out the way. You know what I'm saying? Just get out the way. All right, my fault. Because I'm moving slow. And it just is what it is. You know, and that's how I study too. I study slowly. And I'll be looking up all kind of words. I'll be highlighting shit. You know, I'll go to, before I read a new book, I go to the dollar store. I buy highlighters because my children always fuck my highlighters up every time I get them. Maybe it's because like their color.
You like to be thorough. That's called.
I don't know how thorough I am. I just like to be thorough. I just like to be particular at with certain things. At sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I just be kind of particular a little bit. Like, ooh, if I highlight this, but then when I go back to read a book a year later, I forget what the colors meant in the first place. But but sometimes it's
You got to do you a color key. Like you got to make a key and put the colors and say, write down what they mean next to it, and like just keep it in one of your notebooks so you don't forget.
Hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. What I've learned about having women around you is like, if I didn't know what a woman would be good for in my life, I know now. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. Like now that I'm like a quote unquote grown up and like think of things like, how do I put this? When I was younger, I moved to California and I didn't have shit like this. When I was younger, I moved to California and I didn't have shit. And there was these girls that worked with me and they came to my apartment to like see how it looked and, oh, congratulations. And all I had was a TV on the floor. And they were like, and I was like, man, they're like, why don't you get a couch? I was like, man, I don't even know how much a couch costs. I was like, I probably need to save some money first before I go couch shopping, don't you think? Man, they took me to god dang Ross. They took me to Walmart and a couple other places, and I had a whole goddamn. I had my bathroom looking right. I had a futon in the living room and a TV on a little stand, and I had baby boo. I had baby boo. I had the baby boy movie. And the only thing and I didn't have cable, and it was a like a DVD player. So all I would do was play Baby Boy, and I'd go to sleep, and I'd go to sleep, and I'd wake up, and I would always wake up to the real McCoy on the title screen, and it felt like a commercial to me, but that's all I had. But at least I had a futon. You feel me? But at least I had a futon. You feel me? Oh shit! Because I don't know where I'd be at, right? Like, who would have ever thought I needed to make a what'd you call it? A color key.
Yeah.
Right? I was just gonna keep forgetting the colors until the end of the world.
And when would that be, sir?
I don't know.
Right.
That's the thing about it. I don't know. Yeah. That's a perfect way to put it. Make a house a home. Definitely for me. I used to say that I needed a secretary. Just because I know I ain't about to do the shit that matters. I'm not gonna do the stuff I need that matters. I'm not gonna do the stuff that counts. I promise. To the last minute, all kind of things. I'm gonna get overwhelmed and anxious, and then I get it all done like in a day, and then I'll be like, oh, I could that. if I would have just did that earlier, it would have been so easier. It would have been so easy. Here, it would have been so easy. You know what I mean?
Yep, I used to be like that. I don't even know what caused me to you know what? I actually ended up growing out of that because I used to be like that too, but I ended up growing out of it because I got to where I would force myself to do it anyway, and I would do it like as early as possible, and I just found like in doing it as early as possible and getting it out the way because I knew it was already done, and I don't have to, you know what I'm saying, like harbor it in the back because I knew it was already done, and I don't have to, you know what I'm saying, like harbor it in the back of my mind knowing that this is something that's got to get done, and I really don't want to do it. For me to, I got past that, like, I mean, everything else, you know, as far as like, you know, administrative stuff, is pretty much a breeze. But I definitely get it though. I mean, it's a breeze. Taxing.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's very much emotionally taxing.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's very meticulous. It's the meticulousness.
Hell yeah! If you want to love me, get a pen and a notepad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You know what?
You just walk beside me and take notes of the important things.
It's so funny that you said that. I had
beside me and take
where I was telling her, I was like, you know, you're gonna have where I was telling whose like natural habits are essentially the lifestyle, you know, especially when it comes to your areas of need where for example, workaholics and very, very busy, but they still have things that need to your, you know what I'm saying, that they need done, that they may not necessarily have the time to get around to. And then these things end up being prolonged getting done. And it's not that they're lazy, you know, or they don't, you know, want to get it done. They have a lot of different tasks or demands that they're juggling at the same time. End up being prolonged. You know, you have to, you know, find someone who's able to like assess the gaps or like, you know what I'm saying, the areas in your life where, you know, they know how to show us in that way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and of course, vice versa, you know. But
yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah, exactly. Versa, you know.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Welcome to the Cosmic Couch, everybody. You come in, kick off your shoes, relax your feet. We've been cooking. That's what we've been doing. We're returning to nature, everybody. We got to. And we're doing the great work as we do it. We're returning to nature as we do for being consistent and showing up 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Sunday. Y'all used to send more gifts, so maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I need corn, everybody. Hundreds of them, right? We're growing a garden in here, everybody. I'm trying to grow some corn. Tapping is. I'm a poet, right? So you snap your fingers 2 people left when I asked for corn because they don't have the money to recharge their TikTok funds. But we ain't judging. People judging. Bills are due.
You said that. Look at, I think we done met your goal 3 times in a matter of seconds.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Hold on now.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yes. Get this man home. This God. This God.
Okay.
Oh, Copper, don't leave now. Nah.
Copper, don't be leaving when we passing the collection plate around now.
That's what I need to get next. I need to get a collection plate.
Y'all know it's time to tithe, okay?
I cannot with you.
Y'all better pay y'all tithes when y'all come to the Cosmic Couch, okay? And pay them on time.
We lacking on the screen taps. What's happening?
Okay.
Let's get them taps up.
You know what I'm saying? I guess niggas' fingers ain't working.
Rashaud, I'm not gonna get on your live cutting up like this. I'm pretty chill.
Yeah. Everybody got some finger issues today. Tendinitis.
Oh.
Don't speak that over me. I'm tapping. Okay.
I don't need to be having no minute of information. Okay. Thank you. You call some tendinitis. It's the itis to me.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look. This is chapter 4. Didn't we just read chapter 3? I kind of like this book, y'all. The Cosmic Mother is good too, but this is the main focus.
I missed the first of it, so
you said this is okay. This one is what now?
All right. Damn, y'all missed it. See, I would start over, but I don't know how consistent y'all gonna be in being here. And y'all ain't about to make my.
I'm gonna be more consistent because, like I was saying about the other book club, I don't really fit in over there, even though I like the books that we reading.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, sis.
Okay, yeah, I did get it. I did get that, Rashaud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you on that.
I made it available.
Yeah, you did. I appreciate that too. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm just doing what I can. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sis, just come on board, because I mean, you're more than welcome.
Well, I'm glad Rashaud gonna be going live consistently because I used to come to his lives all the time and I seen that he would disappear.
I'll be having to get some shit together, but this was on my reading list personally for study purposes. So it's just now I get to do it with y'all.
I'm gonna tell you the crazy part. The crazy part about it is, Rashaud, I promise you, right before you had made that available, I literally had came upon that book, this particular book, like the day before and had downloaded it. So when you had dropped it, I said, wait a minute. I said, I literally just came upon this.
Y'all see this shit, everybody? Y'all see this? This is what happens when you do great things. People try to take your shine away from you. Nah, that ain't what happened there. She's trying to say, Rashaud, I've been had it. You ain't do nothing for me.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm not. I'm just saying it was synchronicity. You know what I'm saying? It was synchronistic. You know what I'm saying? It was synchronistic. That's what happens when you in alignment, you know what I'm saying, with, energy and stuff. That's what happens.
Nah, I'm just playing. It is confirmation.
Yeah.
Right?
So I definitely was grateful. I was excited. I was like, oh, that's what he was, because I hadn't even, I had literally just downloaded it like the day before, but I had not started reading it. So then, I came into class and you was doing, I was like, okay. I was like, wait a minute, I don't know what book this is though. And then you made it available and I was like, okay, that's dope. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, this shit is fire, ain't it? Don't be trying to read all ahead. Are you one of those read aheaders?
I can be. I'm not even gonna hold you on that. I can be, but I won't. I won't do that. I won't do like that. I'll say
But I don't know. Like, are there rules? Are there rules to the book club lifestyle of no reading ahead?
No, I think it's good to like read ahead, like everybody like read a little bit in their own time, and then we still come back and read it again together because it sink in better when you go over it more than once, and then it's easier to discuss it. It make like the conversations be deeper because you really understanding what you reading because you didn't went over it. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
That makes sense.
Is this your first time reading this particular book, Rashaud? I got to ask you questions like that because Professor Rye is over here. Okay.
Even if it wasn't, I wouldn't tell you because then that would ruin the fun.
Of course you would. I don't even know why I bother to ask, Cancer.
We just read it. I just like, man, we just found this great book. Everybody come on in, tap the screen and share the live, right? That kind of shit. But yeah, y'all.
Hi, Daddy.
What's up, buddy? How you doing? Yeah, we've been live. We've been live for a minute, y'all. We've been live for a minute, everybody. I mean, we can keep reading. It's up to y'all. I don't know what y'all got going on, what y'all trying to do.
I had a call coming out. Excuse me.
Or we can call it a night because it is 8 o'clock where I'm at.
I don't mind staying, but if you can't stay, I understand that.
Right. I'm on board. Either way, I'm on board.
Oh, I guess. Oh,
sis.
Oh, damn, it's 5.
What y'all got going on with these heart taps, though? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Oh, you gotta like hit the
right.
little heart right here.
Yeah.
And welcome to the family. Now I think when you type in the comments, you even got like a fancy little thing by your name.
Rashaud, I'm gonna get you. I've been here that.
Oh shit. I don't know how it works.
Ooh, Michi, what you eating?
I got a book.
Who's tapping like that?
Me. It was me.
I appreciate it.
You welcome.
God damn. She almost tapped through the back of her phone. She almost tapped through it. She almost tapped through the screen.
You got me dying over here. I'm cracking up. Oh, yes.
Nah, that's what we need in here. But
I
look,
got
y'all,
a book if y'all don't mind me reading that I haven't read yet that I've been needing to read.
What, you about to read it right now?
Oh, unless you was about to read.
No. Go ahead, because then I could do what I have to do up here.
Okay. So this is the book. I Am God Frequency, and the comments said that this was a really good one, and I ordered it and still haven't read it.
Because
But it's Jesus and the Lost Goddess, the secret teachings of the original Christians. It's probably similar to the Cosmic Mother, but again, I haven't read it yet. So, chapter 1, the gospel.
do you want to get on the big screen and like turn your camera on, or you just want to stay where you are? Okay.
Can everybody hear me good though?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Yeah, I probably know. The gospel of Gnosis. I will reveal to you what no eye. I will reveal to you what no eye can see, what no ear can hear, what no mind. Jesus, the Gospel of Thomas. Life is a mystery in mind. Mystery so awesome that we insulate ourselves from its intensity. To numb our fear of the unknown, we desensitize ourselves to the miracle of living. We perpetuate the end of living. We perpetuate the nonchalant lie that we know who we are and what life is. Your preposterous bluff, the mysterious remains unchanging, waiting for us to remember, to wonder. It is waiting in a shaft of sunlight, in the thought of death, shaft of sunlight, in the thought of death, in the intoxication of new love, in the joy of loss. One minute we are going about our business as if life were nothing special, in the of loss. In the next we are face to face with profound, unfathomable. This is both the origin and consumption of the spiritual quest. Although the conditions of life have changed continually throughout history, the mystery of life has remained the same. This is a book. This is a book about a remarkable group of men and women who, some 2,000 years ago, were touched by the mystery and dared to plumb its depths. Revolutionary free thinkers who synthesized the available wisdom of the world and articulated perennial truths in dynamic, innovative ways. Creative vision visionaries who encoded their teachings in extraordinary myths. Explorers of consciousness whose mystical philosophy promised gnosis. Ex- experiential knowledge of truth. These forgotten spiritual pioneers could not have conceived of the unparalleled impact they would have on the history of humanity. Hold on. Spiritual pioneers could not have. I guess it's hard to read when you got kids. These forgotten spiritual pioneers could not have conceived of the unparalleled impact they would have on the history of humanity. Who were they? They called themselves Christians. Radical individualists who inadvertently created the most authoritarian. Their questioning mysticism was distorted, almost beyond recognition, into the dogmatic creed of what they called an imitation church. When this impoverished form of Christianity was adopted as the official religion of the brutal Roman Empire, the original Christians were their scriptures burned and their memory all but erased. The Roman Church fabricated its own account of the origins of Christianity, still believed today, which dismisses the first Christians as a minor cult of obscure heretics. But it was these brilliant mythographers who authored a story which continues myth imagination of the Western world. From the archaic allegory of a dying and resurrecting Son of God they fashioned a new and vibrant myth which has captured the hearts and minds of millions out the world, the story of Jesus Christ. The good news. For the original Christians, the Jesus story was a myth used to introduce beginners to the spiritual path. For those wishing to go deeper than the outer mysteries, which were only for the masses, there were secret teachings or inner mysteries. These were the secret traditions of true gnosis, which according or inner mysteries. These were the secret traditions of true gnosis, which according to those initiated into these inner mysteries discovered that Christianity was not just about the dying and resurrecting Son of God. They were told another myth that few Christians today have even heard of, the story of Jesus, lover, the lost and redeemed, the daughter of the goddess. Okay, so let me reread that. They were told another myth that few of, the story of Jesus' lover, the lost and redeemed daughter of the goddess. Amongst the original daughter of the goddess. Amongst the original Christians, the divine was seen as having both a masculine and feminine face. They related to the divine feminine as Sophia, the wiser of the goddess, a wise goddess. Paul tells the secret of Sophia that is taught in our mysteries. And I just want to intercept a scripture. The same scripture is in this Bible, but it's written different. It says we speak the hidden wisdom of God in our the hidden wisdom of God. When initiates of the inner mysteries of Christianity partook of Holy Communion, it was Sophia's passion and suffering they remembered. Amongst the original Christians, priests and priestesses would offer initiates wine as a symbol of her blood. The prayer would be offered. May Sophia fill your inner being and encourage in you her gnosis. It was Sophia who was petitioned. Come, hidden mother, come, you who are made manifest in your works, and give joy and rest to those who are bound to you. Come and partake in this Eucharist, which we perform in your name, and in the love feast for which we have assembled at your invitation. The eradication of this Christian goddess by the patriarchal Roman Church. The eradication of this Christian goddess by the patriarchal Roman Church has left us all motherless children. Women have been denied a sympathetic rapport with the divine feminine. Men have been denied a love affair with the female face of deity. Spirituality has become part of the battleground which separate the sexes, when it should be the sanctuary of eternal fellowship. The original Christians, however, practiced partnership spirituality. They valued partnership spirituality. They valued man goddess. They saw the division of the sexes as a correlate of that primal duality, which is the source of creation equally, of the duality, which is the source of creation. A duality that when made one, as in the act of love, for the original Christians, the Jesus story appears at the end of a cycle of Christian myths, which begins with the ineffable mystery manifesting itself as a primordial father and mother and culminates in the mystical mission of Jesus and Sophia. The inner mysteries reveal these myths as allegories of spiritual initiation, to transform an initiate from a Christian into a Christ. For the original Christians, the gospel or good news is not a story written in. The good news is that Christians The good news is that a complete transformation of consciousness is possible. The good news is that there is a way to the good news is that there is a natural state of happiness, which is our birthright. This is the gospel of absolute freedom. The freedom. It is not a set of rules on essential nature, which is good already, so that we can live spontaneously. This gospel holds out the extraordinary promise that those who understand it will not taste death, but immortality is not access to heaven as a reward for living an upright life. It is the immediate realization that those here and now of our true identity, which was never born and so can never die. A journey of the lost goddess, the secret teachings of the original Christians.
Yeah, I like this. I'm gonna have to pull this up on the screen. I'm making my children something. Hell yeah. I like this shit so far.
Okay, I'm gonna finish. So the next part is a journey of initiation. The book is an exploration of the gospel of Gnosis. Our aim has been to present a radical alternative to the Christians were and what they believed. Like all spiritual movements, early Christianity covered a broad spectrum of individuals and schools with differing levels of perception. So we have chosen to focus on what we regard as their best and most enduring insights, which may still be valid for us today. Why isn't the gospel of Gnosis common knowledge? First, the Roman Church has spent over 16 centuries systematically destroying the evidence that it ever existed. For much of this time, merely to possess Christian Roman to the established church was punishable by a cruel death. Thankfully, some of the texts have nevertheless survived. In recent decades, they have been augmented by fabulous archaeological finds, such as the discovery of a library of in recent heretical Christifications of this find, and the advances in our understanding of early Christianity, that it has led to have yet to be widely appreciated. Role in disguising the secret teachings of Christianity encoded in the New Testament gospel and alluded to frequently by Paul in his letters, rendering these works into familiar churchy English laws, us into the reassuring illusion that we have understood what is being said. In fact, we have not even begun to scratch the surface of the real significance of the original Greek. The heretical Christian gospels, on the other hand, are regularly rendered into unfamiliar English, making them sound strange and inaccessible. One translator was even in the habit of remarking sound of rinse. Little wonder then that an artificial division has been created between the Orthodox canon and other Christian gospels. Okay.
Shout out to I Am God Frequency for the recommendation. We really appreciate it.
So where was I? However, when the New Testament Jesus story is understood in its original context as part of the whole Christian myth cycle, and the heretical gospels are interpreted sympathetically, they can at last be seen as. In our examination of these texts, we have made one assumption which other commentators often do not make. often do not make, that our ancestors were not idiots. We have postulated that although they lived in a very different physical condition, they still faced the same great enigmas of existence as valuable as contemporary views. We have, in short, approached the people we are studying with the respect which they deserve and which they have been denied for nearly two millennia. Academics have often failed lamentably to understand the spirituality of the original Christians because they have lacked mystical insight. The gnosis is not an intellectual theory, it is a state of being. It is an inner knowledge which can never be truly understood from the outside. Trying to comment on the gnosis without ever having personally experienced its life changing impact is like writing a travel log for a country you have never visited. Any native would find it laughably absurd. We approach this work not only with a commitment to rigorous scholarship, but also as lifelong students of experiential mysticism. We are not, however, members of any cult or affiliated to any religious organization. This, we feel, makes us ideally placed to take up the challenge of recovering the ancient gnosis for modern readers. New ideas can take decades to travel from scholarly circles to the general public. We have attempted to circumvent this process by making the main text of the book as accessible as possible while offering notes for those who wish to see more detailed evidence in support of our ideas or to check our sources. For us, putting together this book has been much more than an academic study. It has been a revelation. For the original Christians, the process of initiation involved meditating on their myths to ease out the allegorical significance. In writing this book, we ourselves have had to undertake a similar in-depth study of Christian mythology. This has been an initiatory experience, which has left us transformed in ways we did not anticipate. It has been a philosophical journey of cosmic proportions, yet at its conclusion, we have found the secret teachings of the original Christians, all seemingly arcane, are actually about understanding the miracle of life just as it is. We have struggled to penetrate indecipherable riddles. Yet we have found that although complex, these teachings are in essence a style of mind. Yet although the gospel of gnosis belongs to time travel back into a so-called dead spiritual tradition, we have found it to be as relevant and challenging today as it was 2 millennia ago. Our hope is that this book allows you to also taste something of the ancient and perennial gnosis for yourself. I'm going to keep reading.
Yeah, you good, sis.
Okay. The original Christians. Much that is written in pagan books is found also in the books of God's church, with a in the heart. It's a strange world. At the end of the 19th century, the influential Hindu guru, I pronounced that right, was sailing across the Mediterranean Sea on a return journey to England when he had a curious dream. A very old and venerable sage appeared to him, saying, "Do you come to effect our restoration? I am one of the ancient order of Therapeutae. The truth preached by us have been given out by Christians as taught by Jesus. But for the matter of that, there was no personality by the name of Jesus ever born." The extract from Vivekananda, a reader of our previous book, The Jesus Mysteries, because it endorses the revolutionary view of the origins of Christianity that we presented there. After years of painstaking research, we concluded that the tradition that the traditional history of Christianity was at best hopelessly inaccurate and at worst a pack of lies. It demanded that we think the unthinkable. Christianity was not the call of a first century Messiah, but a Jewish adaptation of the ancient pagan mystery religion. We could find no evidence that there had been a historical Jesus, because the gospel story was a Jewish rework of the ancient pagan mystery religion. We could find no evidence of God. We even ventured and informed guests as to who may have authored the original Jesus myth. A sect of mystical Jews of God. It's possible that Vivekananda reached the truth by intuitive means a century before us. Perhaps. The psychologist Carl Jung came to believe that the whole mystical Judah. The psychologist Carl Jung came to believe that the whole of human history could be reconstructed from the contents. Requires substantial evidence to validate such a unconscious of received history. This we provide in the Jesus Mysteries. The main concern of that book was to uncover the true history of Christianity. The main concern of this book is to discern the true meaning of Christianity. But before we can embark on an exploration of the gospel of Gnosis, we need an understanding of the historical context. Therefore, we will first clarify, and expand upon the picture of Christian origins, which we presented in detail in the Jesus Mysteries. The traditional history of Christianity has managed to survive for so long, in part because although it is utterly inadequate to the facts, it is fairly internally consistent and easy to grasp. We have found that the best way to open people's eyes for so long, fairly actually a complete fantasy, is to present a rival picture of how Christianity and Christian mythology developed, which is more coherent and plausible. In this book, therefore, this is what we will attempt. Fundamentally, all we are suggesting is that we listen to the losers in the Civil War that bedeviled Christianity and the 13th, that the church and those it branded heretics and did everything in its power to silence. The traditional history was written by the winners, but we have come to believe that the account of the origins of Christianity given by those descended Christians is far closer to the truth. To understand something in a new way, we often need to think using new terms. When writing about the history of spirituality, scholars usually classify people according to the religion to which they are affiliated: pagan, Jew, Christian, Muslim, and so forth. We would like to suggest that this way of thinking conceals education, which categorizes individuals according to spiritual understanding rather than religious tradition. That's kind of like, I think about the Masons when I read that, like how they got different levels, like tiers of understanding, and then the top is like the 33rd degree. It's not like different religions, you know what I'm saying? But
Right. Like you could read one book. Like you could read one book and still have different levels of how it's broken down.
mhm.
Like one thought process broken down in all bunch of different dimensions of it. I think that's how each word is.
Definitely. I always say that like words have different dimensions. Like sometimes we program to only use a word in the context that we're familiar with, not understanding that it has a lot of other dimensions and it could be used in a lot of that it has a lot of. So like sometimes we hear somebody say a word and we'd be like, you ain't use that in the right context. You know what I'm saying? So like but when you actually go and look at the word, they did use it in the right context. You just weren't aware that it could be used this area.
Like when somebody, like back when we used to watch shows back in the day and they used to be like, oh,
Yeah.
like oh, that's smarts. And you'd be like, what the fuck? You know.
Yeah.
You know. and you wonder where the hell that came from. But smart means painful.
Mm-hmm. So let's say from our studies of world spirituality, we have observed that religious movements tend to embrace two opposing poles, which we call that's the two opposing poles. I like metaphysics, and I think that's like the middle. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Right.
Gnosticism and literalism with particular. The classification is important because Gnostics from different religious traditions are more in common with each other than they do with the literalists within their own tradition. Whilst literalists from different religions with the literalists clearly hold conflicting beliefs. Gnostics from all traditions use different conceptual vocabularies to articulate a common understanding, sometimes called the perennial philosophy. It is not that all Gnostics agree. Different schools argue vehemently with each other, but these different understanding of the development of spiritual ideas, we need to view Gnosticism as an understandable tradition, which transcends the accepted division into regional religions. Those who embrace Gnosticism into regional religion, Jewish culture, tend to remain within their national tradition and become Jewish Gnostics, while those born elsewhere tend to become Muslim Gnostics, and so on. But all Gnostics need to be understood as essentially parts of one evolving tradition, whatever their race or culture. The goal of Gnostic spirituality is gnosis, or knowledge. To use the name Gnostics, meaning knowers, because in the various languages used by individuals who have realized gnosis or achieved enlightenment are often referred to as knowers. And then it say Gnostikoi is pagan, Christian. Arifs is the Muslim word. Nanis in Hindu, Buddhist in Buddhist. Gnostic interpret the stories and teachings of their spirit. Gnostic interpret the stories and teachings of their spiritual experience of the ineffable results altogether to the mystical experience of and believe their scriptures are actually the words of God. They take their teaching stories and initiation myths to be the factual history. They focus on the truth. Hence, we have chosen to call them literalists. Gnostics are concerned with the inner essence of their tradition. Literalists associate their faith with its outward manifestation. Sacred symbols, scriptures, rituals, ecclesiastical leaders, and so on. Gnostics see themselves as being on a spiritual journey of personal transformation. Literalists see themselves as national or cultural identity. Literalists believe that their particular spiritual tradition is different from all others and has a unique claim on the truth. They obsessively formulate dogmas which define membership of their particular cult. They are prepared to enforce their opinions and silence those who dissent, justifying their actions by claiming that they are fulfilling God's will. Gnostics, on the other hand, are free spirits who question the presuppositions of their own culture. They follow their hearts, not the herd. They are consumed by their private quest for enlightenment, not by the goal of recruiting more adherents to a religion. Gnostics wish to free themselves from the limitations of their personal and cultural identities and experience the oneness of all things. They therefore have no reluctance in adopting the wisdom of other traditions if it adds something to their own. Literalists use religion to sustain their personal and cultural identity by defining themselves in opposition to others. This inevitably leads to disputes with those outside the particular cult. It is literalists who fight wars of religion with literalists from other traditions, each claiming that God is on their side. Literalist enmity also extends to Gnostics within their own tradition who question their bigotry. Most spiritual traditions have a tragic history of brutal oppression of Gnostics by intolerant literalists. Interestingly, it is never the other way around. We know that we are radically changing accepted terminology and run the risk of affronting some classicists and Christian scholars. But we feel that thinking in these terms enable us to understand the origins of Christianity much more accurately. This way, we can circumvent the dead end of looking for a particular parent religion. Christianity certainly adopted many elements from Judaism as is generally accepted. It was also heavily influenced by paganism as is being increasingly realized, but is best conceived as a product of neither and a reaction against both. The therapeutic and the Essenes. We have come to understand the original Christians as part of a disparate Gnostic tradition flourishing across the whole of the Mediterranean with a common mystical philosophy and a common abhorrence of limited literalist religion. Strictly speaking, there were no original Christians, but rather a continuous stream of Gnostics from different cultures with different experience of life, all producing their own unique variations on the perennial philosophy. Among some Jewish Gnostics, a school developed which synthesized Jesus and pagan mythology to produce distinctive new myths. In retrospect, we can see that this was the beginning of what we now call Christianity. These proto-Christians were probably the Therapeuti and Essenes, who are described by the Jewish Gnostic Philo, himself probably an initiate of the Therapeuti, as two parts of a single school of philosophy. The world they inhabited was dominated by cosmopolitan pagan civilizations, which had been trading, conquering, and synthesizing with each other for centuries. As early as the 4th century BCE, the pagan Gnostic Plato had described the peoples of the Mediterraneans as like frogs around a small pond. A few decades later, the empire of Alexander the Great transformed the ancient world into essentially one culture, and Greek became the international language. Pagan, Jewish, and Christian Gnostics all wrote in Greek, thus making their ideas readily available to each other and fueling an explosion of creative eclecticism. It was an ideal environment for Gnostics to flourish. By the 1st century CE, huge numbers of Jews in Judea and throughout the Mediterranean were fully integrated into sophisticated pagan society, none more so than Jewish Gnostics, such as the Therapeuti, who regarded themselves as literally cosmopolitans, citizens of the cosmos. Philo writes of being part of an international fellowship of Gnostic philosophers who, although comparatively few in number, keep alive the covered spark of wisdom secretly throughout the cities of the world. Jewish Gnostics claim to be inheritors of secret mystical teachings passed down from their own great Gnostic master, Moses. These teachings were so familiar to those of the pagan Gnosticism that many Jews claimed that the great pagan philosophers had originally received their wisdom from Moses. This belief encouraged Jews to enthusiastically embrace the philosophy and mythology of the pagan Gnostics to augment their own tradition, producing a large number of spiritual treatises which synthesize pagan and Jewish motives. The spirituality of the Therapeutae is seen as an example of this fusion of Jewish and pagan Gnosticism. As well as being followers of their own Jewish master Moses, they were also followers of the great pagan philosopher Pythagoras, whose disciples had set up communities throughout the Mediterranean world. These Jewish historians, the Jewish historian Josephus informs us that the Essenes are comparable to the Pythagoreans, enthusing all who have tasted their philosophy are attracted to it. Philo himself, known as the Pythagorean, describes the Therapeutae as practicing the contemplative life, which was a way of describing Pythagoreans. Wisdom stems from Greece, and that this kind exists in many places in the inhabited world. Following the practice of the Cynic school of pagan Gnosticism, these Jewish Gnostics called their spiritual tradition simply the Way, a term also adopted by the original Christians. The 4th century Christian literalist historian Eusebius saw so many similarities between the way of the Therapeutae and the Christian way that he claimed that Therapeutae were amongst the first followers of Christ. But Philo's description of the Therapeutae was written before the time that Jesus is supposed to have been teaching. So he is clearly not writing about disciples of a historical Messiah, as Eusebius believed. Ironically, Eusebius was probably right, nevertheless, albeit in an antagonistic. The Essenes in the Therapeutae did not follow Jesus. They created him. The idea of some sect they created may seem strange today, but this is because we no longer think of myths in the same way as our ancestors did. To us, myths are irrelevant fantasies, but the ancients regarded them as profound allegories encoding mystical teachings. Myths are irrelevant principles. They were an archetypal vocabulary with which to think. Creating new myths was a way of exploring new ideas. Reworking old myths of the Gnostics. Philo tells us that the Therapeutae were devoted to philosophizing and interpreting their ancestral scriptures allegorically. For they think that the scriptures allegorically of a hidden nature which is made plain only by the undermeaning. Imaginative mythologizing is also what the later Christian Gnostics specialized in. Mythologizing condemns them for using allegorical interpretation to freely recompose Jewish scriptures and Greek epic mythology, which are precisely the two sources used to create the myths. Beginning with the Therapeutae and Essenes in the 1st century BCE, a body of the Therapeutae and Essenes in mythology gradually evolved, passing through many stages and revisions, with different Christian schools developing their own myths or their own versions of common myths. Essentially, all of these myths explore two questions which are fundamental to the human predicament. How did we get into this mess, and how do we get out of it? Jewish Gnostics believe that answers to these questions were encoded in two allegorical myths from the Book of Moses. Origination. It was understood as encoding teachings about the descent of the soul into physical incarnation. Understood as it means the way out. It was seen as encoding teachings about the initiate's spiritual path back to as encoding teaching. Christians synthesized these Jewish myths with pagan myths, which also encoded Gnostic teachings about the fall and redemption of the soul to create their own myth cycle, which explain both the descent and the return. I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna say something. The Christian myth of descent or origination is a synthesis and elaboration of the Jewish Genesis myth and Timaeus, a Pythagorean treatise by the pagan Gnostic Plato. In his treatise on the creation of the world, Philo argues that, understood allegorically, these two works encode the same doctrines. The Christian myth of the return is a powerful allegorical designed to guide us through the stages of initiation which lead to gnosis. It was created by synthesizing the Jewish myth of Exodus with pagan myths of the dying and resurrecting god-man Osiris Dionysus. Originally a simple and abstract myth, it was revised and embellished over the course of the 1st and 2nd century CE to become the most influential myth ever created, the Jesus story. So anybody tired of me reading yet?
Nah, I was enjoying it. Me and my chilling. He's playing with Legos and you reading. It was interesting when they talked about how it was like share their wisdom.
Yeah, because they everybody spoke Greek.
Yeah.
Greek.
But it seems like it might have been a bad thing. That might have made it easier for demons to get their hands on information without having to do all the work.
Right now we're on page 14. Oh, the beginning of the book, they always start with like giving you like the background and the bases and stuff. I like when you get further in and they really start giving you the tea, you know?
Oh
Everybody done left me on the panel by myself. I'm lonely.
yeah, I know. They were like, damn. Everybody was talking about they were tired in the beginning.
I know.
And you were reading. It was all peaceful. It was all peaceful and shit.
Everybody that fell asleep.
They probably fell. They probably just fell off the
Sleep.
They probably fell. They just rolled over and fell off the panel. I'm enjoying it though, because I really didn't want to end my live, but I didn't want to be in charge because my son is.
This chapter got like like 20 more pages. Do y'all want to do the whole chapter? Or look, I'm like, I done got myself into this mess. Now I can't get out. Look, y'all want me to read?
I mean, it's up to you. We don't have to do it all. We don't have to do it all in one day. You know, go at a pace that you're comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? It's up to you.
Well, I was just saying that because you said you didn't want to end. Like somebody said, LOL, finish the chapter, says that's like 20 more pages. I'm like, oh Lord. Well, I'm gonna read a few more pages. We probably won't finish the chapter though, because it's, like I said, like 20 more pages. Because the chapter end on page 36 and we only on page 14. So
Yeah.
Don't be laughing at me.
That's a whole lot of reading.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read a few more.
But remember, we're reading other books too. So like,
I'm gonna read a few more.
But remember,
yeah,
so
I'm gonna be here every day.
Yeah, and we can add it with the other information too. You know. You just got to show up on time.
I'll be there on time.
4:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Time. All right.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm gonna read a good spot to like end. So it says sources of the Jesus myth. Let's examine the various elements from which the Jesus myth was constructed, beginning as the original Christian and constructed, beginning as with the myth of Exodus. The Exodus allegory. The Exodus allegory. The famous Jewish myth relates to the story of Moses with out of captivity in Egypt by miraculously parting the Red Sea. There follows 40 years of wandering in the wilderness in search of the promised land. At the end of which Moses parts the river Jordan to lead the Jews to the destined homeland. The name Jesus itself comes from Exodus. In Greek, the Hebrew name Joshua becomes Jesus. Today, it is normal practice to use Joshua for the hero of Exodus and Jesus for the hero of the Gospels, which avoids any comparison of the two. At the time, however, it would have been completely obvious that they shared the same name. This is not a coincidence. The Christian Jesus is the mythic development of the Jesus of Exodus. In Hebrew, the name of Joshua / Jesus is written with the letters of Yod He Shin Vahe. The letters Yod He Vahe, known as the Tetragrammaton, were extremely significant to Jewish Gnostics, as they were used to signify the unpronounced name of God.
Her background sound like my background. Shout out to everybody. You know, just a real peaceful, real peaceful. I wish I had some popcorn. Oh, it's all good. No worries. How's everybody feeling? This is interesting. I tried to find a Sarai sent the book, but I was trying to find it on my computer. I'm gonna have to email it to myself so that I could pull it up because I didn't see it on the computer. I tried to search for it.
Okay. Hopefully that.
Didn't see
Okay. But it say as the name of God, the Jehovah or Yahweh. As Philo explains, when the middle letter Shin, known as the holy letter, is added, the name means Savior of the Lord. Savior of the Lord. The honorary title Christ is also linked to the Exodus myth. Paul tells us that Christ, which means anointed one, is a Greek rendering of the Hebrew word Messiah, which was an epithet for a leader used of Jewish kings. Although today the name Jesus Christ is inextricably was an founder of Christianity in the first century CE, the name would have been heard as obviously symbolic, meaning the Savior came. Jesus Gnostics and Christian Gnostics after them understood Exodus. Egypt represents the body. Whilst initiates identify with the body, they are in captivity. To come forth out of Egypt was understood as leaving behind the idea of being merely a body and discovering the soul. And behind the ideas represent those without gnosis who remain identified with their physical selves. What do y'all think about that part? That part.
Say it one more time.
I said, what did y'all think about that? What they just said. Egypt represents the body, while initiates identify with the body they are in captivity. To come forth out of Egypt was understood as leaving behind the idea of being merely a body and discovering the soul, to remain identified with their physical selves.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm. Damn, I guess you got to come out of the bondage of your lower self.
well, yeah, I get that part, like putting off the flesh and all of that stuff, and dying to ego and putting off the lower selves. But saying that the Egyptians is ignorant, putting off the lower selves, but saying that the Egyptians is ignorant, and didn't all of this knowledge?
That's what they say, but Thoth had to get there, right? Where did Thoth come from?
I know some people say the Americas. I ain't really got into all of that part, so I'm not really got into all. They speak on stuff that's I'm accurate on. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we'll just say he traveled there.
Yeah.
So,
If people accurate on, you know what I'm saying?
well, we'll just say he traveled there.
Yeah.
So he came from America, but we'll save that for another day.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? But yeah. You know what I'm saying? Ignorance taking place. And we try to bring something amazing to new people. But on a whole nother level, it's really a personal thing.
Yeah. Right. So
And
we're
none of
not
it
right.
is personal, a place or people or
Right.
anything.
Right. Right.
There's some shit happening with yourself.
Right. So I say crossing the Red Sea was understood as symbolizing a purifying baptism, which is the first stage of initiation. The first stage, explaining that Exodus should be understood allegorically, Paul writes. One ancestor passed through the Red Sea and so received baptism into the fellowship of Moses. Initiation by baptism begins a process in which initiates must face their doubts and confusion, symbolized and confusion. The next stage of initiation is about the death of the old self, represented by the death of Moses. Moses is mythically reborn as Joshua or Jesus, who completes the journey to the promised land, representing the reborn initiate who realizes gnosis. The basic structure of the Exodus allegory, representing the fundamental stages of Gnostic initiation, is the framework upon which the Jesus myth was initiation. Initiation is one of the purification and struggle. Hold on. Yes, one of purification and struggle. In the Exodus myth, this is the crossing of the Red Sea, which inaugurates 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. In the Jesus story, the stage is represented by Jesus' baptism, followed by his 40 days in the wilderness. The next stage, years of wandering in the initiation, is the death of the old self, which precipitates gnosis. This is represented in the Exodus myth by the death of Moses, and in the Jesus myth by the death of Jesus on the cross. The experience of gnosis is represented by Jesus on the cross. To the promised land and into the New Testament by Jesus' resurrection from the dead and ascension to heaven. Acknowledging their depth to the Exodus allegory, the original Christians classified people as the captive, the called, and the chosen. Those yet to undergo initiation and still trapped in the idea of in Egypt. Those who have heard the call to awaken and begun the spiritual journey by being initiated into the outer mysteries of Christianity are like those Jews who were called out of Egypt to begin the journey to their true home. Those who have undergone the process of home. Those who have undergone the process of purification and spiritual struggle necessary to prepare themselves for gnosis and been chosen to be mysteries of Christianity are like those chosen people whom Jesus leads across the river Jordan to the promised land. Initiates who finally realized gnosis were known as those who have crossed over. Early Christians were well aware of this. Justin Martyr, for example, explains that the Christian Jesus will lead his people to the promised land, just as the Jesus of Exodus led his people to the promised land. Justin traces the motive of the cross to Exodus, where Moses holds up a serpent on the cross and says, "If you look at this images and believe, you will be saved by it." This source is made explicit in the Gospel of John. The Son of Man must be lifted up as the serpent was lifted up by Moses in the wilderness. Other more also came from Exodus. Once he crossed the river Jordan, the Jesus of Exodus selects of Israel. After his baptism in the river Jordan, the Jesus of the gospel likewise selects 12 men as his immediate followers. Both motifs refers to the 12 astrological signs in the zodiac. Such a reference is not surprising. The Jews had adopted astrology from the Babylonians, whilst in exile in Babylon, eventually becoming renowned throughout the ancient world as astrologers. They even claim that the Jewish patriarch Abraham had been the inventor of this ancient science. And the myth of Moses, as a prophecy that Moses would be the cause of his downfall, commits mass infanticide. The myth of Moses attempt to kill him. In this gospel myth of Jesus, this becomes the slaughter of the innocents, perpetrated by the evil King Herod, who, fearful of a prophecy that the true king of the Jews has been born, attempts to kill the infant Jesus. Mary, the sister of respondents pointed out in many Christian texts, as well as in the Muslim Quran. Like the respondents pointed out in many Christians, in the gospel story, Jesus is called out of Egypt where he has been in hiding, like the soul within the body. The Gospel of Matthew explains that this is to here as elsewhere in the Gospels, we should read fulfilled the prophecy as here as elsewhere in the Gospels, we should read fulfill the prophecy as coded reference to the source of the symbolic motive and its intended allegorical meaning. This is prophecy in retrospect. Jesus fulfills Jewish scriptural expectation precisely because the Jesus story has been constructed from them. Piecing together previously existing mythological material in a new way was a traditional Jewish technique known as midrash. It has long been known to scholars, for example, that the entire passion narrative in the gospel has been created from motives taken from Psalms 22 and from the depiction of the suffering servant in the book of Isaiah 9. The Essenes taught that in ancient times, the Jesus of Exodus had hidden secret teachings, so only those who were worthy could discover them at the appropriate time. They developed a contemporary mythic Christ figure called the Teacher of Righteousness, whom they identified with the Jesus of Exodus. This figure eventually became the Jesus of the Gospel, a mystical reincarnation of the great hero of the most important of all Jewish Gnostic myths. The secret teachings hidden by Jesus, the Christ of Exodus, are finally made public by the reworked figure of Jesus the Christ in the Gospels. This is the secret not revealed in former times, but now disclosed, Paul writes in his letters. Jewish Messiah. These Jewish mythological motives were syncretized with motives borrowed from the initiation allegory, the great pagan Gnostics such as Pythagoras, Socrates, Plato, Plotinus, I don't know if I said this. I don't know if I said that right. Were initiates of one or more of the mystery cults that were in Mediterranean. Each mystery tradition consisted of esoteric outer mysteries, which involve religious practices in which anyone can participate, and esoteric inner mysteries, to which access was gained by undergoing a process of initiation. In the inner mysteries, the rituals and the myths by undergoing a process of initiation, allegories, encoding mystical teaching, which could lead an initiate to the experience of gnosis. The most important character in these allegorical initiation myths were the lost and redeemed goddess and God man. Regional variations on these two mighty figures are found throughout the ancient world. In Egypt, they were known as Isis and Osiris. In Greece, as Persephone and Dionysus. In Syria, as Aphrodite and Adonis. In Asia Minor, as Sibyl and Attis. In Mesopotamia, as Istar and Marduk. In Persia, as Asherah and Baal. The pagan Gnostics were aware that all the different goddesses and godmen were essentially two universe mythic archetypes. I just want to say something because two universe video on, y'all ever seen the Prince of Egypt? It's about the Exodus.
No.
Well, in that it's a
I've seen of
song.
it, but that should be pissing me off just by the art. I'm like, nah, I can't do this shit.
In the movie, they sing in a song. I forget what the song is, but in a song, I forget what the song is, but they chant. They keep chanting, Ashira, 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 Ashira. And I was like, how ain't nobody catch on that?
Damn, I ain't never even seen that movie.
Are you making noise with your phone?
Damn, I ain't never even seen that movie.
Are you making noise with your phone?
It's in that cartoon movie, The Prince of Egypt. Yeah, they believe. Yeah, that song. They get to a part of that song. They get to a part where they start talking in Hebrew and they chant and they keep saying Ashira, Ashira, Ashira. And I had to replay it back because I was like, hold on, what? I was gonna do a video on it, but I never got around to it.
This is your sign.
Oh, okay, where was we?
Sorry, my background's just a little loud, but I hear you.
No, you're okay. They sometimes use the general name Great Mother to denote Dionysus to denote the God man. The myths of the pagan God man describe a son of God born to a virgin on December 25th, who dies at Easter through crucifixion, but the chance to be born again through the rites of baptism. He is a wonder worker who raises the dead and miraculously turns water into wine at a marriage ceremony. He is a savior who offers his followers redemption through partaking in a meal of bread and wine. Who offers his followers these and many more mythic motifs as we explore in detail in the Jewish mystery. Mysteries were incorporated by the original Christians into their myth of Jesus. The therapeutic whom Philo describes as like those initiated into the mysteries of Dionysus were based in Egypt, not far from a lake where there had been major celebrations of the mysteries of the Egyptian god man Osiris for centuries. Their scenes were based in Judea, near the place where Jesus ben Nun was near the charged sacred sites. Jewish Gnostics combined the Exodus initiation myth of the Jewish Christ, Moses, Jesus, and the synthesis we know as the gospel Dionysus to create a unique synthesis we know as the gospel story of Jesus Christ. These two sources are made explicit in compatible accounts of Jesus' birth. On the one hand, we are given long genealogies tracing the ancestors of his father Joseph to show that Jesus is born in the line of the King of David as a Jewish Christ king was expected to be. Yet, on the other hand, we are this is his mother a very taken. Well, hold on. Motives taken from the Osiris Dionysus myth. By placing these contradictory accounts side by side, the gospel writers made clear for those with ears to hear the dual mythic identity of Jesus. By combining the Jewish Messiah with the pagan God-man, Jewish Gnostics must have felt that they were creating the ultimate the Jewish Messiah with a mystical superhero. They were also, as is characteristic of Gnostics, openly challenging their own literalist traditions. Jewish literalists were anxiously awaiting an historical Messiah who was expected to be a warrior king sent by their touristic of tribal deity Jehovah to free them from domination by the Romans. The figure of the Jewish Messiah with the pagan, dying, and resurrecting God man. Jewish Gnostics were not only making pagan wisdom more readily available to Jews, but were also presenting Jews with an entirely different version of their Messiah. The Gnostic Jesus does not come to bring political salvation, but mystical enlightenment. He does not lead victorious armies, but dies as a common criminal, which to the Jewish literalists was offensive heresy. Like the Gnostics themselves, he is a free thinker who breaks the rules, embraces society's outsiders, and ridicule the ecclesiastical authority. And popularizing the Jesus myth, Jewish Gnostics were doing what Gnostics always do. They were confronting the status quo and tell you what you like. We not. If you saying Jesus gonna do it for me is crazy. Like
Hell yeah,
crazy. Like
it's crazy. And that's why everything. That's why when they be getting all kind of shit from the devil.
exactly. And this is what the book was saying. It was saying
It's crazy.
it was saying pretty much the same thing that the saying the idle mind is the devil's playground. He pretty much said if you don't think for yourself, then I put thoughts in your head. I put these thoughts in your head because you're not thinking for yourself. So when your mind is idle, I come in and I put all of these thoughts in your head. So when they were saying that, I was like, thoughts in your own. Like I was trolling.
That shit.
Thoughts in your head.
That shit is real though. I was saying that shit earlier. I was like, yo, you gotta have self control because if you don't have self, that shit is real though. I was saying that shit.
Mm-hmm. Cause I'm like the book is literally telling y'all how y'all done been manipulated forever, and y'all still just being manipulated right in the moment. Right in the moment. And I'm just like, Lord.
I like that shit.
Y'all. I'm like that Christianity is strong. That's a strong spell.
Hell yeah. That shit got a hold on, folks. Got him by the jugular.
And I'm like, it don't have nothing to do with the Bible, because I read the Bible. But I understand like it's really just about the natural laws. The natural laws. Like in the book that I'm talking about, Outwitting the Devil, that's what he said. That's what the devil was telling the about. Only the natural laws matter. Because those are the real laws. Like all of these other laws people be making up don't matter. It only don't matter. Everything else is subjective. Like if you feel like she not supposed to be naked and that's immoral, that's subjective. You know what I'm saying? Immoral, that's subjective. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, technically, you can think of it as you can't say it's if you as you can't say it's if you think of it as like, oh well, technically you can think of it as I'm doing to you. You know what I'm saying? So like if people don't want to see naked people, then maybe you should probably cover up. But you know what I'm saying? You should probably cover up. But you know what I'm saying? Like yeah. Like people
you gotta respect that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like people
You gotta respect that.
people morality change from place to place. You know what I'm saying? Like depending on where you at, what country you in. Here, women can wear their hair out, dress how women can wear their hair out, dress how they want to. You go to to over there in the Middle East, and the women all covered up, and you know they look at us like we doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And we look at the other person like they doing something wrong because they don't got on enough clothes. Like it's just all subjective. You see what I'm saying? Anything that's objective is natural law. The law of cause and effect, the law of correspondence, the the law of gender, the law of rhythm, all of that stuff. That's the only thing that's objective. It does not change depending on the person, place, or thing. You see what I'm saying? Like gravity is gravity. No gravity is gravity. No matter what part of the world you in.
You gonna bust your ass if you jump off that building, I promise you.
Like, that's the only thing objective. And what he was saying was he can't get people who follow the natural law and think for themselves. That's it. It's really not hard. Like we make it harder, hard.
Hey, look, we're gonna be here tomorrow 4:30 p.m. I might go live later if y'all still up. And I'm gonna send you an inbox after this. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay.
But I want to thank you because you really helped me out today, and I was able to accomplish some things over here and keep the life going. I just want you to know, I never would have made it without you.
You're welcome.
I would have lost it live. But we worked it out. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. Never could have made it. I remember I used to drink a lot, and one time I was drinking and driving. I would have lost it on me, and I can say I'm stronger. I did.
Thank me your lucky stars. Thank me your lucky stars. When I look back over all you brought me through, I can see that you know what I mean? All right, y'all.
Talking about play the bounce version. If I wasn't about to get off of here, I would. And shit's over, y'all. Got people trying to